baonarebo mulabeja ukutula potwa misalila ifwe walitula baonarebo nomba lelo mwamwela imwe mulefa yatumivotire twakupele voti ngata wabombae twakupele voti ngata wabombae tawalimone voti ngata wabombae tawalimone voti ngata wabombae pantuno mwaka kuyabebele twanakanemwe mwachiramo bufi kuyabebele akowelele numa kuyabebele mwachiramo bufi pantuno mwaka kuyabebele twanakanemwe mwachiramo bufi kuyabebele akowelele numa kuyabebele mwachiramo bufi pantuno mwaka Bakulu.
The sound magician. Wi-Fi on the beat, boy.
Twakupele voti ngata wabombae twakupele voti ngata wabombae tawalimone voti ngata wabombae tawalimone voti ngata wabombae pantuno mwaka kuyabebele twanakanemwe mwachiramo bufi kuyabebele akowelele numa kuyabebele mwachiramo bufi mwalitula ile onale bwati mukesa tupangira kwemisebo twalimipele nevoti ati mukesa tupangira kwemisebo nimwewo mwatile mukesa tupulira nechipatala ifwe nimwewo mwatile mukesa tupulira na masukulu kuno ukutula potwa misalila ifwe mwalitula baonarebo imisebwala yalyonaika ichipatala takwaba kuno abana besu basambilila mufi muchifyamango bana mayo mapapira mungande zipatala takwaba kuno imisepila chose mbalofwa bapepa byebange fama lelilo mufunda tawafika nembuto tashafika ukutula potwa misalila ifwe mwalitula baonarebo nomba lelo mwamwela imwe mulefa yatumivotire twakupele voti ngata wabombae twakupele voti ngata wabombae tawalimone voti ngata wabombae tawalimone voti ngata wabombae pantuno mwaka kuyabebele twanakanemwe mwachiramo bufi kuyabebele akowelele numa kuyabebele mwachiramo bufi uno mwaka tulefa yabakutubombera notya bakwisa kuno mukuzembereka mukutwibira mano nga twabavotera abaya nangu mwatupele ndalama tulepo katatwa mivotere nidonti kubeba wapoka waya nidonti kubeba wapoka waya ababina chimuna
ubutebufi nalesa alembona eto naberere umpatiri kukula ndechi. Our Archbishop was poisoned by State House. Bali bapere poison to State House. So when it came here in Rome, Vice came kubapunya poison. What AK want kuri ba Archbishop kufwa. UPND, what you should know, Mwewe na Zambia, this, what I'm going to say is, I'm not alleging or kilele, but if you have observed, when our Catholic bishops, over there State House, even Zambian whistleblower started questioning our Archbishop Ali Kibando Kwebati, why Tabale Sangiro Obama Bishop Nganabaya. The reason is simple. Utebu fi nalesa alembona. Our Archbishop was poisoned by State House. Poisoning to State House. So when it came here in Rome, Vice came to poison. What Estate want? Kudiba Archbishop Kufwa. All Catholic priests in Zambia vadish the leadership, including our even all bishops in Zambia vadish leadership. So I want you Christians to know. Our Archbishop or Bishop, each the Archbishop, each the Christian Bonse. Naku Vivashima Pepo Wambi, whether you are Pentecostal, whether you are FDA, whether you are what, our Archbishop was poisoned by State House.
Looking at current politics, looking at how sometimes politics evolve, it's possible your Secretary General could disappear at a critical time, and then you're eliminated from an election.
Well,
because he's the only one recognized by Registrar of Societies.
I think it's
and once he's captured by your opponents, then you're done.
I think it's up to the political parties to choose people who are committed to their ideals of that political party. That the Secretary General is a serious person who is not going to abandon ship, who is going to ensure that that political party is represented, who is going to ensure that that political party has credible people to stand. So are you telling us that these Secretary Generals are not credible enough, that they should not be holding those positions? So whom are we going to trust? Whom do they trust? We hope that there's enough trust and credibility in a political party when they say that this is our Secretary General, they are comfortable with their Secretary General. Of course, if they are not comfortable, I think it's up to them to remove him or to remove her and get somebody who they can trust, who will look after the affairs of their political party.
And wanted to create a complication when probably, as you're trying to file in your nominations, and your SG has an injunction on them, placed on them, and they can't function.
Well, that's now inside the political party, intra-party, it's a management of the political party which the commission should not be involved.
Which ultimately may affect people's choice.
Well, it's up to them what decisions they make. Because whatever decision the political party makes will affect the people. So political parties have to be very, very careful. And as I said earlier, this is serious business. And you are subjecting the whole of Zambia to this type of management. I don't think we deserve that. I think the people of Zambia deserves serious political parties, serious people who go into politics, who are not going to abandon ship.
Let's move on and look at another issue that is seemingly getting to be an issue of concern, which has been raised by other stakeholders, which is revising the voting procedure by the removal of use of the official mark. Why is this proposal being made?
Well, this proposal...
What is the intention?
Okay, first, I think this proposal is being made, it has come from the people. Whenever we have an election, people complain that if the official mark is not there, and this book and the ballot...
Good day and welcome to today's broadcast. Thank you very much. The last time we broadcast was last Wednesday. I missed you and I hope you missed this program. Today we are discussing the Electoral Commission of Zambia's proposed changes to the Electoral Process Act. They've tabled their proposals in Electoral Process Bill of 2025 to amend the Electoral Process Act of 2016. Some of the proposals they've made have set stakeholders very worried. Number one, they want to remove security features from the ballot paper. The ballot paper has a security feature, a watermark. Firianga mwaimiendalama mulamona, there are some things you can only see against the light. It has a security feature. Number two, before the ballot is cast, it has to be stamped. Now, in 2021, we had 250,000 spoiled ballots. It's a matter of serious concern. What happened? How can you have so many votes nullified? Remember, President Hakainde Hichilema won with 2.8 million. President Edgar Chagwalungu followed with 1.8 million votes. The third one was a spoiled ballot. They got 250,000. And to recognize how dangerous this is that the number 3 presidential candidate, Harry Kalaba, only got 23,000. The spoiled ballots were 250,000 votes. It's a serious matter. But Mwangala Zalumis wants to attribute this to these two security features, that the ballot should not have watermark, and next, that in many cases, the polling assistants appointed, trained, and paid by ECZ do not stamp the ballot at the back. And by our rules, then that ballot is invalid. Why would you like to change the law because of your administrative incompetence? Why are you paying polling assistants who can't stamp at the back? Why would you allow a ballot to be cast without being stamped? Is it ECZ that's not distributing the ink and stamp? Who is to blame? You saw Mwangala Zalumis. It was painful to watch her, extremely painful, because our explanations, our justifications were extremely torturous. The issue of the Secretary General. Why would you decide and define for the party who should represent the party? Why do you want the Secretary General codified and only be the representative to sign adoption certificate? Why would you, especially now the other third one, why does ECZ want powers to disqualify? And we've seen how far they've attempted to abuse their powers. They've interpreted the Constitution. They were reprimanded by the Constitutional Court. Why would you give them powers to disqualify candidates? This is a matter inherent in the courts of law. Why would she want to do that? Those are the three things we are discussing. Please share the broadcast. Share the broadcast. Comment, tell us where you are calling us from, and in the comments, please share the broadcast. This is a very important matter. Our people are very excited when we are discussing candidates, when we are discussing issues. Is it Mundubile? Is it Makepe Zulu? Is it Given Rubinda? Is it Maul Sampa? Or is it Harry Kalaba or Fred Membe? Our people get very excited when we discuss those things. But everything hinges on a free, fair, credible, democratic, and transparent election. If you can't guard the vote, if you can't plan for the election, if you can't secure the vote, all those efforts that you want us to discuss of candidates go in the water. This broadcast is very important. Let us pay attention to what is happening to the Electoral Commission of Zambia. I've given you a profile why we want a new board at ECZ. First, Mwangala Zalumis is a member of UPND. She cannot superintend over such a sensitive, objective organization. Number two, we've always had the Supreme Court judge to superintend over the affairs of ECZ. It's for the first time that we have a civilian, a lay person that has come from the street to head that institution. Number three, you have McDonald Pence, who's one of the commissioners. These two, when we give you the profile, Mwangala Zalumis, she headed the Electoral Technical Committee of 2003. She was appointed by Levi Mwanawasa. And one of the changes she wanted to push that time was to bar SATA because they suspected that SATA didn't have a grade 12. She pushed an agenda that grade 12 and a degree should be one of the qualifications for a presidential candidate because they had targeted Michael SATA. Her history is not very good. She knows the laws, she knows the Electoral Process Act, she knows the Electoral Act, she knows the Constitution, she knows these processes. She's not acting from ignorance. She's a very well-founded person. McDonald Penzi was running gears. He recruited 60,000 people to monitor elections across the country. He's been a FODEP executive director. He knows the electoral process. So why are they engaged in activities that undermine elections? Is that they want to deliver a second term to President Hakainde Hichilema at all cost. It doesn't matter what you, the people of Zambia, do. They want to deliver a second term to President Hakainde Hichilema. Number 3, the way the voter registration and NRC issuance was done, we saw what we call voter suppression at play, where you had areas that are strong for the opposition, Muchinga, Northern Luapula, Copperbelt, Lusaka, having all sorts of features in NRC issuance and voter registration. Iyo ink taile bomba, iyo machine taile printer, iyo ink naipwa, iyo tatukwete genset, iyo, there were excuses. Yet they registered in Southern Province, Western, Northwestern, and Central Province, up to 90% in some areas. There was active voter suppression, meaning Southern Province should yield higher votes, even sometimes combined, than the 3 provinces of Muchinga, Northern, and Luapula. These activities are literally criminal. They are prejudicing the outcome of the 2026 elections. We keep on, pay attention, the election is being stolen now. The election is a process. It's not what you will do on 13th August. It is what is being done now. Similarly, when we raise alarm on the Electoral Process Act, kindly pay attention. It's for the good of our country, for the good of our democracy, and for the good of a credible, democratic, free and fair elections. If President Hakainde Hichilema has to win, let him win on a free and fair manner, not these matters that they are engaged in. We've expressed concern about Brown Kasaro, the chief electoral officer at ECZ. And the man was removed from ECZ in 2016 because he was found to be manipulating. And this is, first of all, let me give you the profile. He's a serious electoral expert. He's called to organizations across Africa and the world to give advice. He is a competent person to work for any independent electoral commission across Africa or anywhere in the world. He's qualified. But it's an ethical issue where he was found trying to manipulate results for the benefit of the UPND. He was partisan. Now that is a man that is in charge of the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Are you going to have a free and fair elections? You have Mr. Kachaka, Dr. Kachaka, similar concerns around him. We want to Akwalesa. We've been calling for all these issues. First, the integrity of the voters register. We've called for an audit to it. We've called for the removal of these 4 officers and to bring impartial officers that can run this election in a free and fair manner. And then just see what they are doing. It was extremely painful to watch Honorable Mwangala Zalomis yesterday. She pretended with the answers that just annoy you, but like I'm telling you, this is a person who knows the electoral process of our country very well. She knows the laws very well. She's headed a committee that was reforming our electoral process. So she's not acting out of ignorance. Even those questions, she's giving silly answers. She knows what she's doing. Until you raise alarm, until you get agitated enough, an election is not what you do on the election day. In fact, in many elections, whether dictators' elections or any elections, people always say the voting process was clean, fair, peaceful. Why? Because the election is won and stolen before before you cast your vote. And how do we secure that vote? That's what we are discussing today. Before I delve into any deeper, I would like to pay my condolences to the family of the Chiwesa Kunda and the Walusiku family. Chita Chushi Chiwesa Kunda died yesterday. We understand he's been battling cancer for some time now. We thank God for his life. We thank God, that he's lived amongst us all this time. Remember, he's a spouse to our dear sister who's managing director at Zambia National Commercial Bank. This is a spouse, Mr. Chita Chushi Chiwesa Kunda. Our condolences to the family, the Chiwesa Kunda family and the Walusiku family, and to Mkwandi and our children, our deepest condolences. I brought another matter. I played the video of Father Mwewa from Italy, who's a Zambian priest based in Italy. And he made very strong allegations. He said Archbishop Dr. Alik Banda, who's a Lusaka Archdiocese Archbishop, was poisoned at State House. He was very specific to the extent that Archbishop Alik Banda was evacuated to Italy, to have that specialized treatment. This is a very serious allegation. If it was made by anybody, we shouldn't even be discussing it. But it has been made by a prelate, a priest who's based in Rome. A priest, Father Mwewa, a Zambian priest, who disclosed this matter on a radio show hosted by my dear sister, Beverly Kundamo. She hosts a program. She's called Chair on social media. And Father Mwewa called. This was at the height of the call out for Archbishop Alik Banda. I think that I call upon President Hakainde Hichilema to commission a formal investigation in this serious allegation. You cannot have our Archbishop of Lusaka poisoned at State House. State House Ninganda Yachalo. Is the president involved? Was the president made aware of this allegation? Is the president part of the plot? Or was it done outside him? We require a formal investigations. You cannot poison a senior prelate like Archbishop Alik Banda and get away with it. It is important that that is put to bed. There's another matter of very serious concern. Apparently, the Zambian government have been seeking to access a body of the late president. Why am I saying the Zambian government? Because the institution they are using, South African Pressure Group, Progressive Forces of South Africa, we have demonstrated from day one that this was paid by government, by Zambian government, and they've been using, they are being used to do protests, they are being used to hold press conferences. Now they are the ones that we remember they held a protest at the body of the late president must be repatriated to Zambia at the height of that dispute. This pressure group, Progressive Forces of South Africa, PFSA, it has been paid by the Zambian government, Zambian elements. And we've been very categorical from day one. So to see Progressive Forces of South Africa go to a police station, report that the late president was poisoned and that his body should be taken, post-mortem should be conducted on him without the consent of the family and the Zambian people. I think this is totally unacceptable. Mulilo Kabesha, the Attorney General, you've caused enough harm over this matter. State House, you've caused enough harm. I don't know if people have ever witnessed a post-mortem. I'm still traumatized because I was one of the key officials that was asked to witness the post-mortem of Tutu Angulube. Remember, he died of a sudden cardiac arrest, and there was suspicion, because even that morning he was criticizing President Hakainde Hichilema. He wrote a very roasting post criticizing President Hakainde Hichilema. If he was driving from Kabwe to Lusaka, that was his ordinary commute, and he died, at Lusaka Heart Hospital. So both the family, the party, everyone was concerned, and we commissioned a postmortem. Oh my God! It was my first time to witness a postmortem. They cut the brain, they open, they cut legs, Mwantu wakwalesa. Postmortem. It's a miracle that they put it together. And when you see the face in the casket, you wouldn't know that what has been done to the body. So for me, you cannot do a postmortem without the consent of the family, whatever the allegations. I don't know what State House and what Mr. Mulilo Kabesha are trying to do with the body of the late president. That is why suspicions never go away. What is it that you want? Isn't it enough that the president has died? Isn't it enough that you should do all you can to ensure that the remains are brought home? And if you are suspicious about anything, why don't you do that back home here? Why would you go through these unorthodox, very dirty tactics? You are using these kids who you have paid to make a report to the police. Aoba Kabesha, I hold you responsible because you're the one that has been driving this. The lawyers have since written to the South African police, and this is what they stated. They've stated that you, the South African police, are aware that there are 2 extant High Court orders expressly directing that possession and custody of the body and the remains should be with 2 Mountains Funeral Services, pending the finalization of legal proceedings. Those orders are binding and operative. In addition to leave of appeal, the leave of appeal has been granted by the Supreme Court of Appeal. What this means is that the appeal is very alive. And at this juncture, there are operative court orders that remain in force and must be respected, pending the outcome of the appellate process. In the absence of a judicial variation to these 2 court orders, we will not authorize the removal of the late president from 2 Mountains Funeral Services to whoever you want to take it, because they wanted to take the body and that they should be with the body until they do the postmortem. This matter has caused so much pain. Isn't there any wise person in State House to cause a retreat to this debacle? Isn't there any wise person in our country? When we had the opportunity to speak to seniors like V.J. Mwanga, you saw his remarks. Instead of advising, he's reprimanding the family, punishing the family further. Look, in all jurisdictions, whether it's in America, Zambia, South Africa, the body of the remains, the mortal remains, remain with the family. It doesn't matter what jurisdiction. Your role is to negotiate with the family. In this case, the president was the president of Zambia and was our president. It's just imperative that you discuss with the family. They themselves know that their father, their uncle, the spouse, they know that this man was president. They are very aware and very sensitive to that. This entire shenanigans are totally unnecessary. Isn't there a wise man in our country that can speak to President Hakainde Hichilema? Isn't there someone really? Why do we have to bring ourselves to this demeaning level? Someone said, no, Ambassador, because the president is not dead, because JJ Banda, former Petaoke Central MP, keeps on saying that President Lungu is coming to participate in the elections. No, you are misquoting JJ Banda, and I hope I'll call him. I can call him, he comes and explain. JJ Banda keeps on talking about the spirit of ECL. You know, that's why he encourages that Tassila should be running mate. You've seen if you've watched his broadcast, because he believes this election will be determined and influenced by the late president, even from the grave, because of the spirit. So either through the PF or through his daughter, JJ, that's a narrative. So when he says ECO is coming to participate elections, you people cut the exact, just where I've ended. ECO is coming to participate in elections. You cut that video and make it go around. But what he always said, JJ Banda, is that because the spirit of the late president is alive and will influence the outcome of the elections. So Mwantu Akwalesa, the lines are open. We are discussing ECZ and the process that ECZ is involved. Currently, all members of parliament have been dispatched across their constituencies, all the 156 constituencies. There's a hearing taking place of delimitation process, and the MPs have been asked to mobilize citizens in their area and make submissions to this commission, the delimitation process that Mwangala Zalomis has appointed. She's creating 70 new constituencies. And then she's proposing just what we discussed, where they want removal of security features from the ballot paper. They say it causes sport ballots because the polling assistant, who they've hired, who they are paying, who they've trained, forgets to stamp at the back of the ballot paper his or her stamp. Is that the problem of the voter? Why are you all here? Why are you employing and paying people that can do their job? Or maybe you should hire a third person from all the people you hire. Hire a stamper, someone whose duty would just be to stamp. So we are discussing the issue of the Archbishop being poisoned. I'm calling for a formal investigation. The issue of Murilo Kabesha and the body of the late president, where they want to do a postmortem in South Africa without the knowledge, consent, or authority of the family. And Mwangala Zalomis. We already have a caller. Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba. My name's Paul Lungu.
Mr. Lungu, make your contributions.
All the way from Nyimba District, Eastern Province.
Thank you, thank you.
First and foremost, for me, I would dwell much on the issue of the electoral process, which the proposal which is there. The first thing first, if we are living in a world where people are strengthening institutions of democracy, such as the ECZ, and we've never seen things like that where we want to allow members of parliament to come up with a law few months before elections, or rather few months before we go for nominations and the like. It's not a welcome move. What we want to tell ECZ, they are not there for themselves. ECZ is an institution that has been established by the people of Zambia. There is no way that before elections, one, you would want to change how that ECZ should have powers to stop a member or a political party from contesting elections. That is not sitting well with the people of Zambia. Zambia is a democratic nation, and as such, every leader must brace themselves to abide by the rule of law that we've set ourselves as a standard. And let the people of Zambia speak through the ballot. That is what we want, not ECZ. Speak through the ballot. If the people want UPND government to continue, let it be so. If the people of Zambia want this government to go, let it be so, because that has been our trend. We've changed governments from governments, and few days or few months before the election. Ambassador, the people of Zambia are called upon to shine their eyes, to open their eyes, and to stop any this country, all of us, we are stakeholders of this great nation. Zambia. More importantly, we need to continue to maintain peace and tranquility in our beautiful nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please call. Today we are discussing these issues. There's another attendant matter. President Hakainde Hichilema has summoned all the 1,858 ward councillors in the country, elected councillors. He wants them on Monday. We don't know what he wants to speak to them. All of a sudden, the councillors are very important. He has summoned them. These are the issues we are saying you should be speaking to. The matters are arising from I noticed the other phone was off. Let me just switch it on quickly. The matters happening in South Africa of grave concern, where this pressure group that has been used by State House and the state has gone to the police and they want to retrieve the body of the late president. They are saying they want post-mortem because there are reports that the late president was poisoned. Now, the family has rejected that assertion and they're saying that's not the proper foundation. And if anyone wants a post-mortem, it will be the family that will call for that post-mortem, not strangers. Mulilo Kabesha is determined. The police have visited. They nearly got the body of the late president. And the lawyers had to write a letter to tell them that there are active court orders in place. And you therefore cannot seek access the body. They wanted to get the body for a few days, conduct post-mortem on it, then return it, despite the 2 high court orders. Why I'm annoyed, and why you should be annoyed, is the complainant is an organization State House and the state have been using to do protest, to hold press conferences, to march. You know, you must have seen that group that we've talked about from day one, from the time that the late president died and this crisis emerged. We have discussed this grouping, that it is, in fact, to some extent, even expelled MP from Mafinga, Robert Chabinga, attributed to it when he was saying we have to bribe the judge, you know, we have to conduct those protests. He also attributed to it, making a link that the state was the one that was behind that, that pressure group. In fact, we even got some testimonials from some members where when they were, there was supposed to be the first hearing, they were offering 5,000 rands, or is it 1,000 rand? And some participants from that pressure group said, no, we want 5,000 rands to attend and protest for Zambia. There was that issue. So this misconduct is being done by Zambia, where you are using surrogates. Like you are using surrogates to bar Edgar Lungu from participating in the elections. You use the young man Chizombo, your youth member, to petition. No capacity to hire a lawyer. You paid for his lawyers. You ensured that that process took place. Again, you are using surrogates in South Africa. Vunkalwe bwa musango shani ubu. Vunkalwe bwa musango shani ubu. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Mwambasinyangwe. Dan here. How are you doing? And it's good to have you back, Ambassador. We miss you and we love you.
Dan, I don't know if you know our dear brother, Ebo Mwansa from your place there in Canada. Our condolences. Please, if you have his number, get me his number. I want to personally pass my condolences. That mass shooting where he lost his 12-year-old son was very shocking. And I hope you, the Zambian community in Canada, are giving our brother comfort.
So thank you for saying that, Ambassador Mwamba. We had a virtual match yesterday, the Zambian community, to just comfort the family and to talk to them. And I just want to thank the organizers. I think I would say the BC family, the Canadian family, all in Canada, we really were there to support our brother. And I would want to thank the organizers. There's Pastor Msonda here in Saskatoon and others that attended that important virtual match. Even the ambassador to Canada was also in attendance. So that was a good thing.
Oh, Mr.
And just
Shepande.
saying,
Yeah, he's a dear
yes,
brother,
yes.
friend of mine. Yeah, okay, wonderful.
Yes.
That's leadership.
Yeah.
That's leadership.
That's, yeah.
No,
and you see,
please
it took me
get me the number for Mr. Ebomons. I want to pass my condolences.
All right, now I'll ask maybe Pastor Msonda, because
Yeah.
he's been in touch with them, and then I'll ask the number from him, and then he might give you the number so that you can reach out to them.
Thank you.
And
thank
you know, it takes me, this is what I was also looking at leadership. On Friday, I saw something that we should learn as we aspire to be leaders. I saw the Prime Minister of Canada and all the opposition leaders coming together and attending this tragedy. And this is something that I look at us Zambians. We've taken politics to create enmity, which should never be the thing. I'll go back to that to say, look, we have lost our Republican president, Edgar Changwalungu. He is a person who held the position of being the president of Zambia for 7 years. But look at what we are doing to the family. And then you be the president of Zambia. You are even seated and you are even seeing what is happening. That's not leadership, Mwebantu. We are human beings. And as we are human beings, we go through pain. And as we are human beings, no one is perfect. But you cannot take the family of someone that has lost their loved one and try to take them to what they are going through. 8 months. Ishicho kino fwaya kuli family y'abalungu n'abalungu. Mwebantu, when we talk about leadership and you are going to say no, let's put leadership politics aside, but now let's put leadership in front of us. We are all leaders in our own home. Would you be a person that is going to make sure that your neighbor, who you say, no, this is my neighbor, and then you put them through pain, and then you are still even enjoying and when your neighbor is in pain? Second, Manuel Mwamba, Zambians, the call is upon us. We saw what happened Bill 7, and now they're trying to use Imingala to 3 EC8. Shame on them. If we are going to allow them, trust me, there is an hidden agenda. And I'll ask everyone that is listening today, take your time. Listen to what Dr. Seshua wrote yesterday. If you are a person that loves Zambia, take just 10 minutes of your time. Read that article. We cannot allow that, Mwebantu. Dr. Seshua, his article and his heading is very eye-catching, but the content of what he wrote is the more reason why we should remember the words of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda when he was asked, what do you think about this person? If we are not careful, this man will divide us. Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. Let us continue praying for Zambia. Let us hold all these people accountable. And let's see leadership in everyone. And then to the opposition, I wanted to ask you, Mwamba, since you're in MCC, is the party for PF holding their general election at the end of the month? Because we don't want to shimmy. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Emmanuel Mwamba.
Good evening.
How are you, my brother, man?
I'm very well. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, this is Haggerson H. Akiko, or known as 1HHH, one of the UPND radio caller.
Yes, my dear brother. Make your contribution.
Wonderful. Mr. Mwamba, we have been following you. But now the only surprise, we Zambian, we are becoming cowards. You want to form government outside Zambia, and you are pushing your friend, do this, while yourself you are a coward. That one, it won't help us. And for you, Mr. Emmanuel Mwamba, you are a senior man. You are a senior man. Why do you behave like this? You are forcing your friend, do this, this.
Okay, sorry. I think people that come to this forum are aware. I've made it very clear There's always a topic on the subject. Don't make me the personal attack. Do not degenerate this forum to what you've done to other forum. Here, we do not allow personal attacks. I do not attack President Hakainde Hichilema, no matter how annoyed I am with him. I raise the issues, just like here. I can see another UPND saying, but this matter is is the South African police. No, it's not the South African police. If you look at the records, and we have the records, is a complaint has been laid by a pressure group that the Zambian government have been using. The police, this gentleman, in fact, even responds to the officer. He names the police officer who received this complaint. So don't fool yourself that this is an investigation of the police. My dear brother, the UPND caller, you are welcome to call again. Just don't bring personal attack. I'm not the one on the debate. If you want to know why I'm outside the country, we can have another debate. Today we are discussing these three key issues. The poisoning of the Archbishop of Lusaka, the ECZ proposed amendments in the electoral process bill, and thirdly, the matter regarding the late president, where you want to conduct post-mortem of the late president in South Africa. Those are the three issues we are discussing. If you are not up for the game, do not call. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Oh, I'll ask the caller to call again. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Mkwaiba Munkonge.
Tukubalira ku bifo nkirala wande miromba fwaeni ya interview aba matekulu iraba ishire isapara iraba ndire pamurando wakuyimina nefe bakamu bamakepu zuru bari rondero kwebaki kuri coffin timo ifyo ba panire ba government baile ku newspaper ya Africa no kuya itera article Elio bakira ya newspaper ya Africa kwebaki barumbura amashira y'abantu bari kwa uro kwishirikwa na article ira yafumo kwebaki barechita complain kwebaki bafuire na poison bari rondero wiro sara bakebzu fwai probashire pamwe Elio bamwamba ikintu kimwe cyandefo okulanda wabali n'amatwi kuti bamfu ayine bamwamba icyatarire bakona bahise umupepi icyatarire bakona kwamira umupepi bajerio kwaju kwebati bode abahise yo barari tapa yareranga Wednesday during that time bamwamba nabita kwata ichimonwa ngani abama professor bashironish kunga bali shirika mitano sabaira saa Bana kwete chimonwa cyarelanga bali bote yawo cyaringangira abantu abali 9 to 11 so bale panga ko fintu fimo so bale panga fintu fimo nombale na saba sanga ishbali kuma last ko bashirira ndokwe bakidi ashiyonze yapwa so fo bagulire no muntu mo key point tinsa rutwa kupera ngawa bote fenga isa Badari direct kuranda pali bahisi onga yaisa wachitafi finish fin fya bombe ka fyonze fya relanda pali transaction chimbi chinto cho ningalanda bamwamba ukulisho mwa umepanganda oko kwaba kulingana n'abasumi no kupero mwa umuti ambo kumfira kulina mayo info yaba ECL yali kwa transaction ya charo kuseshe charo paroko chaberero kuchitwara pano So nomboro bayishirira ndokwe bati inza rutwa kupera nga chakwe bati mubiri waisa wachitafe so ishiri ashiriyapwa bamwambande myaba muchine chakwalesa oro naishire vuka pa during time yonisha ali mu fasting turakwata maro naishire vuka na lipibire bamwamba tapali naye ashire ali omufuika mucharo ato abantu kurwira body nanguko chitaso nomba fyali saba liu oro na vukire oro na mboku yusha mwalesa wanjine na chepa nomba ngechi chimono mwampera pali ukateko wafa ushachachire na mchachinga. So after that, tofuna tambana sa mwana ba PF na bateke chiriro kula ku secretario barelanda ambo kutamba nomba para ambo kutontonganya cha aba bantu bali busy nomba nambo kulanda mwelesa wanyu ichichi mwana mumpere iwish kuwa kushika potero ikesa mukandange pofimo nkeshire bamwambo kufuma popote tayaisa liri ashiria pote bamwamba ndelanda muchire na muchinga teri ashiria kumubiri nabo abantu omusekata wamayodas tabareranda techi barande kanoro muntu upepa sana abantu amana arafurungana kwangu kumone fintu firi romu kwati firi romu bambi kwamba nokura tuka family bati chintu chimwe cyo ningaranda kofi turi ndetu tira kuri family na bena Zambia wale taka sana family tabeshibe murimo family ya womba okusunga bote nshitayo ushikufye bote ikakusumuka ku family awe mwanjini wabumba nsomo ine uishire bati ende barombera kolesale basunga byo mutende lero ushakwata amenzo yakupashi tapali chinto chenga mona ichiri chonse abantu bambi bali bafisha ko kumitima techi barande abantu abengite tibeske na mwana watushe ififire chitika fitunturu nangute fitunturu nangufe example imbe ndabipera bamwamba usho muntu nga bamwe batoka kuko kwa mwabi oro tukaukabye kurefaya taba kwa toruse otiba kutura omwana omuntu ni mwabi bakutura kokuru wale wana vale chitika ku Tanzania so ilire kashinga lyaba muri isi mwamba teria kurandira ku buntunzi umwana muri mwana ku buntunzi kwamba kuranda tawe nishi bale chitirefi nishi ba chitirefi ama pepote yakuraba ko tuberere 11 na Zambia onsi lero bashakwatana nzwa kumana kumupashi bena bakumana feizi nokura tukana tabeshi byati na bena pali transaction bakabiramo affected tapali uri ongoing shala Zambia is a Christian nation taichi be transaction ya kuba ya kwa Christian nation na bote tamona ke panturezari benseshe ukuba kwisafira kusambuka mwaka ya kwalesa tekweba vya kusamwa vya ma politics vya mipashi vya bapo yashi vya spiritual teri ashiri akuranda vyawe inepofereza alindanga botereza ali chingirira tabaka imone pantuira bote yali kumwena Zambia uli onse na ngubatuka family tabashi vya abantu fo bachita kisuma bamwa.
Thank you very much.
To kill PF. And the same people should be presiding over his 10th memorial. The same people should be putting his ghost to rest forever, and we are watching. We can't accept that. That's why people are saying, what's going on in Zambia? What's going on? Because I don't want to say people were happy and excited when Mr. Sata passed on, because that's a fact. You can check it out for yourself. I don't want to say from day one, after Mr. Sata died, people began trying to destroy his memory by destroying PF.
Just to put it very in clear context, you are saying when Mr. Sata died, some people celebrated.
Yes.
They even began to campaign immediately.
Yes. Yes.
They saw it as an opportunity to get to office.
Yes. So that is a fact. And now, the same people went further when they got power in 2021 to destroy his party. And tomorrow they want to attend the memorial to make sure that even his party dies with him forever. You can't allow that. So for me, I'm waiting between now and tomorrow morning to see what happens. How can you allow somebody who has murdered your son or your daughter and you are still mourning to come and attend the funeral and be made to speak at the funeral?
But how good your son
was. And you know about it, you say, wait a minute, what's happening? And I think I can just say the whole thing, I summed it up when I spoke to one guy. I said, "She vupuba nangu mliuno vulo shi nangu pinshi." Because
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba. This is the AI voice, please.
AI, make your contribution.
Thank you very much. I always must start by thanking you for the effort you are putting up. You are putting in very good effort in ensuring that we air out our views and we monitor the things that are happening. Well, the poisoning of the Archbishop reminded me of my good friend. I had a very good friend by the name of James Lukuku, Ambassador Emmanuel.
Yes,
He's
James,
a good friend
the
of
head
mine.
of a political party. I remember
You
the young
remember
man. I remember the youth activist. I know him. I knew him.
Very good. He was a very good friend of mine. Now,
Okay.
this guy, we would discuss every night like this, though we were on the opposite side of the aisle. So this gentleman, he was invited to go and dance over the winning of Bill 7 at Community House.
Bill 10.
They went to dance there because Bill 10, yes. Oh, no, the defeat of Bill 7, Ambassador Mono. When UPND defeated Bill 7.
They defeated Bill 10, not Bill 7. Yeah, they defeated Bill 10.
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you very much for the correction. So they went to dance there. You saw the Muchimas, all of them dancing there, dancing. After that dance, my friend immediately was rushed to UTH, and the third day we are told that he died. So when we hear of somebody dying in such circumstances, that is what it reminded me for. Well, people of Zambia are prayerful, and we are praying usiku na mzula. All the altars, the evil altars, acts of the devil will be exposed. And this poisoning must be investigated thereafter. Now, the issue of the Electoral Commission of Zambia. I'm blaming the opposition a little bit because they haven't been as vibrant as they are supposed to be. They have allowed President Hakainde Hichilema to entrench his dictatorship in all government institutions. He has taken the judiciary, put it in his pocket. The Electoral Commission is under capture. He has put his people there to ensure he knows President Hakainde Hichilema and all his co-hosts are fully aware, and they were told that there is no chance in which President Hakainde Hichilema can win any free and fair election. They know that. With all this hunger and Pamelas they have brought the people, the Minister of Health has collapsed completely. Who is going to wake up and go and vote for President Hakainde Hichilema? With this hunger and the blackout that has been inflicted on the people. So President Hakainde Hichilema knows that no one can go and vote for him in a free and fair elections. So he has been preparing. All these people you are seeing around in this institution is an issue of survival. It's an issue of survival. They have been entrenching themselves. Electoral Commission of Zambia, all the changes they are putting about, all these laws that they are putting about is to entrench themselves to ensure that they secure a second term of office. That is why we have been appealing to have a strong civil society in this country and to people who can lobby for these things. Now, the issue of ECL, you have heard what the gentleman has explained properly. And even what ECL himself was explaining. What function ceremony do they want to have at the airport? To say when the body comes immediately and the first person who must see the body is President Hichilema. To do what with the body? It is a pity that I feel very sad myself that they continue troubling that man like that. I feel because one thing that these people must be told, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, is that UPND government, even if you give them 100 years ruling this country, they will never work the way ACL worked. They will never work. They will never work. ACL put a lot of hospitals around. You can see even the heart hospital you're mentioning about. It's a masterpiece. So no matter what they do here and there, they will never work in the manner ECL worked. So what we are saying is that please, President Hakainde Hichilema, allow the spirit of ECL to rest. Allow the spirit of ECL to rest. There are a lot of people who have you won't die if you don't preside over that field. And I'm appealing to the church, all the people who are praying to ensure this is a time for prayers. Day and night we need to pray. There's nothing that will work. All the powers. The day a monkey is destined to die, all the trees become slippery. Time is coming. Time we had the proper dictators in Africa here. Proper dictators in Africa. How did they end? The people you are killing, what you die yourself. How did Mobutu Sese Seko Kuku Ngwendo was a banga end up? Was anybody who was talking about in Zaire there about Mobutu Sese Seko was a banga? So these people, I feel pity for them because the life of a person is in the hands of God. So these issues which we are hearing of people being poisoned, whatever fear you are trying to instill of the people. But you see, the issue that is there, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, is that in Africa also we have a problem because we don't scrutinize these people before they form government. These leaders are supposed to be scrutinized. People were told in plain and black about this man. Who was not taught? Jesus, everybody, people spoke. When they went for overnight, they were told, we want to never put this person as a president. People were taught. So today we want also to be surprised like a frog that gets surprised with its own water. We were all taught. We were told and we knew. We in plain black and white. We were taught that once this person becomes president, there will be this and this in the nation. Were we not taught? So what we are saying is that please, Zambia is a Christian nation. We are going to continue praying day and night, and all the evil altars, all the evil things that they are doing will be exposed. That is why we have even been exposed. We know now that Eric Banda, after going that side, and also I don't know why they allowed him to go that side. Why they allowed him to go there that side, I don't know. Up to now, I don't know what killed my friend James Rukuku. James Rukuku, very good friend of mine. I don't know. But Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, let me end here, but just to tell you that please don't be so afraid of postmortem, my brother.
Yeah, I saw here kwa tutwa ngurube, my brother, the way those doctors are, the way they do to a chicken, if you've seen, the way our women deal with the chicken. Oh my God. I remain traumatized. With the issue of post-mortem. It's a necessary issue to determine the cause of death. It's very necessary. But I would rather that such a decision is made by the family. Okay, family, those are the three issues we are discussing. Please make a call.
Yeah. And the same people should be presiding over his 10th memorial. The same people should be putting his ghost to rest forever. And we are watching. We can't accept that. That's why people are saying, what's going on in Zambia? What's going on? Because I don't want to say people were happy and excited when Mr. Sata passed on. Because that's a fact. You can check it out for yourself. I don't want to say from day one, after Mr. Sata died, people began trying to destroy his memory by destroying PF.
Just to put it very in clear context, you are saying when Mr. Sata died, some people celebrated.
Yes.
They even began to campaign immediately.
Yes. Yes.
They saw it as an opportunity to get to office.
Yes. So that is a fact. And now, the same people went further when they got power in 2021 to destroy his party. And tomorrow they want to attend the memorial to make sure that even his party dies with him forever. We can't allow that. So for me, I'm waiting between now and tomorrow morning to see what happens. How can you allow somebody who has murdered your son or your daughter and you are still mourning to come and attend the funeral and we made to speak at the funeral?
But how good your son
was. And you know about it, you say, wait a minute, what's happening? And I think I can just say the whole thing, I summed it up when I spoke to one guy. I said, She wupuba nangu mliuno vulo shi nangu pinshi. Because how can you, Ambassador, a Catholic, be remembered in a Jehovah's Witness hall?
Yeah.
In the 10th anniversary, or how do you get
to be dishonored?
How do you get remembered in a SDA church when everyone knows that you're Catholic and so on? And the state insists. And the worst part is that I have learned that the Secretary to Cabinet is Catholic.
Yes, he is.
And so he's the deputy, Oliver Kalabo. They're
Yes,
Catholic. And they should have told government to say, look, how these things are done, especially Patrick.
Family, we are discussing these 3 items. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Anonymous, make your contribution.
Thank you. Just to start with, let me borrow the former president's words, may his soul rest in peace. Those are the questions that he asked. It is so strange that, at a time like this, we can have, we have this government that is so determined at wanting to have access to the body of the late president. Now, the question that we want to ask, actually, as Zambians, I think this is just more than, what catches the eye. There is something so strange about this. There is no way people can be so determined, ready to spend millions of kwachas just to make sure that they have access to the former president's body. Does your life really depend on this body or what? We want to understand. This is so strange. I've never seen, this level of umupampamina. It doesn't really make sense. It is now baffling us. Even those people that I've seen a lot of people comment, oh, it's the family, oh, it's PF. This has nothing to do with the family. This has nothing to do with the PF. The family is just standing their ground. They are saying we want to bury our own in a dignified manner. But this issue of Mingarato, going beyond it is so strange. I think I don't know, maybe somebody's life is entirely dependent on the body of the former president. Then finally, on the issue of ECZ, by ECZ, Zambians, we understand fully what you are trying to do. You are trying to disadvantage us, the people. You are trying to defranchise us, the people. You are trying, to make sure that our vote does not count. You are literally rigging this election. It becomes easy, when we don't have all these security features on a ballot paper, for someone to come with pre-marked ballot papers and stuff them in there, no one is going to check. And this is what they are trying to do. Secondly, I foresee a situation where they would want to print the ballot papers locally, and this ECZ should understand that ECZ should be neutral. ECZ has to be neutral, and they need to know that they are facilitators of an election, not people that are heading the government to win an election. Even the way the ECZ chairperson is speaking, for me, it just shows how partisan she is, and she's a danger to remain at the helm of ECZ. Confusion in countries begin from how they fail to handle an election, and this is where we are seeing ECZ is taking us. They've taken us for a ride for the longest time. I think it's time these people knew that we are not, dour Zambians. We see through what they are trying to do. I thank you, Ambassador Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was Arokola. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Ndita ya mama bombeni.
No, le sale mi pala, le sale mi sunga fiobwino. Hii programu mwaleta, programu imwe isuma sana. Eyo tufuile kulingana ngechalo, ichesu cha Zambia, tuwaposa kwa mano. Kabili tufile tuwa isula na menso, na ama tuino kulolekesha. Ifile chitika Mzambia. ba mwamba chakubalirapo ndefo kulanda peli ashirya balungu ababemba eko twatula ichikalipa chumfo mwine ile mfo ya balungu ya balupwa balungu bali kwata omukowa n'entambi eko bafuma eko n'omutoto iyo wapo twike wapo neko babashikire iyo balungu bakulile bambo kubomba basasangwa namufika nsafya cyaro tekwe bati balungu bali susukako kulupwa na kubonse n'entambi noko bafuma awe ife akwe batomba balungu babafye ng'ekyakwangasha tefo kifuiryo okubeefi tekwe bati omuntu ngafwa abene bamfwa bene abalupwa nekiwemba kitira ati n'emishingo yine bapyanika uwalupwa akale bamwambe fo kyali ndefo mungufushe tufunde kwa bena Zambia pantu alufye entambi akale fo kyali omuntu ngafwa nokumona pachitumbi bale sala abene balupwa wala mona pachitumbi nyaba nabalasa nga kumanda nyaba twayabule ntambisha kutola toileta takwa bawe ilingi feba fuba kulwa pula na kumbi nga wayangu mona vitumbi fya bene uletola pofye emipamba ivi festika mu Zambia buloshi teti mwe bulo mubiri wa bene mwe ucheka ti postmortem ili wa bene tabasuminishe bamwamba ndefo kumwekesha kokunuma. You were the part of the center of the controversy when bachuba bafwile arabi another administrative that called for the postmortem family abachuba balikana kuchindikisha urupwa efyo balefwa yabene teti mpampa mine chintu ekichiri chenu balungu babombere fe ku Zambia kulingana nga ba president na ba minister but nabakwata eko bafuma ebene babalungu ili abene babalungu balanda okweba tatule efwaya suminisheni mwipampa mine chintu ekichiri chenu ilingi ubuloshi tekwenda fyo bushiku nevinshi imivere nemichitikire ebuloshi ngacho mwapampa minafye ekitumbi ky'abalungu balungu n'abafwa abene balanda ati bambi tatulefwa musango eko pakushika bambi balanda tulefa tushike mu nshirenshi bamwamba twali mulapo twakufiriro mwafuma mu mocha ikula kukitwe kulya family alanda okwata kwa body viewing komenifye mbogoshi mu mocha mwaima mwatwala kumanda bonsa abantu bachindikisha nomba echo fyo buteko bakabesha bapampa mina omubiri w'abalungu kuti bawusende baye uchekalama bawuchekala ucheka ole ushimbi ababweshe nikwesoko kwinyoko nomba umfwendi ibifile stika mu Zambia oyu lusambu no ushalimo akavamo ero bambi bala papa kalama efe chiwe machitila imipamba imite yamonekere kuli bena ikamonekera kuntulo yabo ili bakapita abana kufyarwa nefishi kululwa fike sasa nge mipamba because wale pampa mine fintu tabeshibe esho leso mwinabikirepo belalwa na lesa baleke balungu na family yabo bashitefe balefwa numbiri wabo ifi akwebo kweba ati balungu bali ba president ni banani balungu babombele fye echalo tekola ati babombele echalo nishi balungu nomba na bulupwa lwapwa tabakwete abalupwa benda bemini nako awe ero chindu I'm very disappointed na ba PF starting with my brother Mundubile, my brother Makebi Zulu and Balubinda ababantu abanga bali temene balungu mubumi na mumfwa nga naba ichefya balango obutungulushi. It's very disappointing. And everybody claims to be very close with Walungu, but the action is not speaking. Icha number 2. Baba mwangala zalomiz bale tensoni. Ibamayo is a disgrace. Epona ababikire bamwangala eba muna mu unipi na mwena tibali kwa tabamano bamayo na wisdom baleta omwenso balaba amaefu balelanda mairopa ZNBC nga balelanda ole mfano mubiri olenda kwati baleba otwala otunono kwati baleba abantu bashinda tontonkanya nga balelanda Secretary General removing invisible mark in authentication of the ballot papers kwati bale tumpia kapunika bale punika bena Zambia bafide bachenjira mwangalaza lomis na bakula balya ero bala shabana no lupo ero bakaya ichiwemba chitila ati uafyalwa alolelo okufwa ushirumbule mfwa ni mkamwenso bonse tulipesa mbali ya chalo tusheshi na ilisuma pantobo tuwala shakunuma eweke samone fintu bamwangalaza lomis bale kama Zambiani basa le ntungulisho bale fwaya. You cannot remove something which is going to protect and authentication of an election. No, they will read how many ballot papers they have. Bamwangalaza lomis Fema Zambian to alienga some of us who have participated monitoring election globally. So vera muna kwati na abachenjera. Fionse fyabale chitafiria it's a duplication of election in Tanzania and Uganda. Before we mu Zambia. Ba UPND na president akainde ichi magana ababomba. Ama Zambia ni bakalanda by 13th August. If yobale chita bachenje na bakwata bana nefishi kulu bela pa Zambia nkwe bati no pantu wa kudinda dead stamp alena kalava no nga waingisha omuntu inchito afira bo menchito ya lefwaya bamwamba nga wapita pa border your passport has to be stamped alala ngokwe bati na ukwata visa na wingira muchalo nga tabasile stamp passport obenishi iwe tawapitire munshire ituntulu fira balela ndamangalaza lomizi Fionse, if you are going to disqualify candidate, ilani scheme ya kushitahirigi election. Tetu wabepi ya bena Zambiani, bale ikiwa mwangalaza lomizi, kalamba bale na wakula. Bashe legacy yabo, iwa bena Zambia kwa wewe kishapo.
Oh, I think the line is cut, but my brother has delivered his points on all the three issues that we are discussing. Please call, please call.
Ubutebufi nalesa alembona etona belele umpatiri kula ndechi. Our Archbishop was poisoned by State House. Bali bapele poison to State House. So when it came here in Rome, Vice them kubapunya poison. What ethics want? Kuri ba Archbishop kufwa.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Good evening. Please tell us your name and switch off your other device.
I'm anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contribution and switch off your other device.
Yes. I just want to echo what Mkonge said. Yeah, but as he said, kanava kwetamenso ya kumupashi. Even gamani fileshtika. So that one, we shouldn't even take it lightly. It's very, very serious. It's like umi baba muwishi depend pa mubiri waba yashi pa 7th pa 6th president Lemkwai. Then on the issue of official mark, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it until I saw it on the media. It's like I'm a banknotes. Baranda to have me official mark, meaning abantu can make him people bafaida. There's nothing to validate to say this is the official. So that is what they are. That is what they are saying about the ballot paper. Then, how do we even validate that these elections are free and fair? Because where these ballot papers were officially casted or they were brought in. I can't just understand how the bigger system can just, instead of upgrading, they are downgrading. It's really embarrassing and very disappointing. we've had privileges to work with Electoral Commission of Zambia. The issue of debt stamping, if you one person on a desk, maybe even more than two, you have a paya parliamentary, you have a paya shani. People have done it from time immemorial. So how should we just change it? So the to me, because it keeps on upsetting people more and more. And one day, we'll just see people going roads. People will just go amok, and that will not be very good because we have been a harbor of peace as a nation. But the way we are moving, it is threatening our peace as a nation. So we still pray that as a opposition, remain focused, reorganize yourselves. And I don't know, but the question I have for you, Ambassador, is there any way that we can fight this, that it doesn't go through? Can an injunction be found that ECZ does not proceed with such a thing? I submit.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Callers, we are discussing 3 items today. The alleged poisoning of Archbishop Banda, the demand by the Zambian government through surrogates to conduct a postmortem on the late President Edgar Chagwalungu without the authority or consent of the family, and the attempt to pick the body, and the proposed amendments by Mwangala Zalomes.
Looking at current politics, looking at how sometimes politics evolve, it's possible your Secretary General could disappear at a critical time, and then you're eliminated from an election.
Well,
because he's the only one recognized by Registrar of Societies.
I think it's
and
up
once
to,
he's captured by your opponents, then you're done.
I think it's up to the political parties to choose people who are committed to their ideals of that political party. That the Secretary General is a serious person who is not going to abandon ship, who is going to ensure that that political party is represented, who is going to ensure that that political party has credible people to stand. So are you telling us that these Secretary Generals are not credible enough, that they should not be holding those positions? So whom are we going to trust? Whom do they trust? We hope that there's enough trust and credibility in a political party when they say that this is our Secretary General, they are comfortable with their Secretary General. Of course, if they are not comfortable, I think it's up to them to remove him or to remove her and get somebody who they can trust, who will look after the affairs of their political party.
And wanted to create a complication when probably, as you're trying to file in your nominations, and your SG has an injunction on them, placed on them, and they can't function.
Well, that's now that's now inside the political party, intra-party, it's a management of the political party which the commission should not be involved.
Which ultimately may affect people's choice.
Well, it's up to them what decision.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Christine. I'm calling from Zambia, Lusaka.
Thank you, Christine. Make your contributions. Yo tulifia we know. Christine, make your contributions.
Mandi fifile chitika mandi ni tafiwe mina ngufepa nono ngefe bayelanda wonsama callers baleke yo mubiri abene ba family ero ite tabakwete nesambusha kwimukuya kulyokwe batu baye basendo dankani board nokushita postmortem because ngabashitala okusenda board kulya kwatu bashite postmortem tete bayiko chiko chapa bayisenda. So today lomba abali in charge kulya bapose kwa mano fika shitapo nokuchitika poifi then nangu file chitika kwa fye mu country mwandi ni file peshe amano file papusha ama road blocks bali yafumyako kashinga finishe fwe bali pisha bene kaya then ifi balala ndabana kali bamayo Mwangala Zalomesi bamayo Mwangala Zalomesi awole sabeka tomutima beka lete fintu ifi mu country mwesi tulina abana abanono muno efse bale tatafiwe benangu fipanono because
ngana kushama elections ya 2021 ama date stamps balilekera okubika ko bamanani kane apa balisale ko kuvota bonse bali kantatu avote anti ama date stamps yabe because ngatapala ama date stamps it's very easy okulikinga ama elections. That's why abantu basile hold ngabe neti balanda shani pali no stoko bati bamanani ma ballot papers peka ama date stamps. But bena balikene mu 2021 eko twali ama witness wali mone shintu kyalechitika balesta threatening abantu nangufene oli bayite bali nche threatening balo kwa twalaita mob mukatu bese banani kali banyume muno mwini nasha nati go ahead so lesa tutangire mwandi nje ntuko safe nefe tulepe pa fion safe baleshita fikala isa pa welu takuli chintu cha takwabe chintu cha sama kumaka papa meso ya kwalesa chionse fikala isa pa nani kali papa welu tapata takuli cha labe tutakusama nangufechimu kumaka ya kwalesa awe ten tuko safe yokupepa then inama actions na ena but yala fwaikako not to be feel just because bambi nango file chikaba nani kani ba file chitaba PF bambi bale ona ule chipani just because bale bombana ba ruling party bambi na bamba noko na ula manani kani ama ward officials bale basenda ama constituency officials ma district bale basenda omuntu alishoka taarifa mu PF nishte taya pange na yena manani ama structures aya aya mpulase dala ma structures aya abako oyo baleta ola bale bamu abantu nomba bana bela gashinga ni sala bale inako kapisha ben amandi lesa twafu aya ma elections yake ndisho wino wewe kumaka ya kwaleta epo na perera.
Thank you very much. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. This is Anonymous from
Anonymous,
the land of AI.
make your contribution from the land of AI.
Yes, sir. It's a very difficult topic, Ambassador. Both of them are very sensitive and very difficult topics to discuss. And let me start by talking about the issue of postmortem. And it's a very difficult topic for me. But the first time I saw a postmortem, like you narrated, it was bad because it had to be, a family member there. And I was there to see how my brother-in-law was cut open and things like that. It's very difficult. And it's not something that you want a family to go through, especially after the trauma that you've made them go through in the last 8 months. I think his heart is full of gallbladder material. It's bitter and very evil. After you hold a widow, 8 months in mourning, now you want her to go through a postmortem. No, I'll control my words. I think that everyone who's listening can finish that statement for me. Let me go to the next issue. President Aga Indechima went to South Africa must have been on the 8th of February. And he came back on the 10th of February. On the 11th, the lawyers for the Lungu family, they wrote that letter. If you've seen that letter, it says 11. They wrote as a response to the police, reminding them that it is impossible under the prevailing legal state of affairs for them to do anything to see the body, to get the body. My question is, could it be that all these demands for the body were done just in time for HH's visit to South Africa? Because remember that this is, if not the first time, but one of the few times HH has left Zambia in a very long time. HH missed SADC, missed UN General Assembly, missed so many huge international events. Yet, he went to South Africa just when there was a subpoena from the police to access the body. Very interesting. Very interesting. For rituals. If people are failing to say that, let me say it. If you believe why. Monica, the curtain is there. It can show. Let's bring it out the way it is. But for rituals and tabaka umone. As long as there's Yahweh seated on the throne in glory, he won't manage. he won't manage. Let me go to the issue of ECZ. But ECZ should know. That whole crew, they should know that if they continue with these in Mingarat, it will be ECZ that becomes a danger to the peace and safety of this nation. If they continue issuing Mingarat over the education, they will be the ones who will be a danger to the peace and safety of this nation. The behavior we are seeing from Mangala's Lomis is very suspicious. Could it be that because her family has a murder case, she must do whatever it takes to keep the daughter out of jail, and so she's properly and squarely captured for that assignment? Clearly, the ECZ in its current form does not have the credibility to handle elections. They don't. The ECZ has just become some subcommittee of the UPN. Recently, they were saying if your political party is not standing in an election, you can't wear the T-shirt of that political party. Who decides the wardrobe of individual citizens? Who goes to that extent? When in 2026, 60 years after independence, some woman whose daughter has a murder case and she's out on 20,000 kwacha bail, when Mao Samba trying to call out democracy is on the 1 million, I don't think it's 2 million kwacha bail. Honestly, those things they think we don't see. And then Gabambo ura chituming to funye stamp so bakare starting amasha bakare bade stemming galato, they think Zambians do not see. Is that what they think? And I hope they are listening. I mean, Patricia Luhanga, all those guys who work at ECZ, I hope they are listening. Zambians are watching, and they will hold you collectively and individually responsible for the actions that you are taking. You better go sit and think carefully about your actions, because Zambia is too big for you to play with. Maybe the Zambians might look, docile and quiet, but muntu feel what they're young sana. Alesa azanda kuma monoruki. Besides that, there's a mukuru. And in God's timing, things can change in 10 seconds. So please take it. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We are discussing 3 topics. If you wish to participate, please call. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
If let's take a mchalo mwesu, how financial mobile. Nalala kukwenda palo akufunya date stamp pa ballot paper. Pa mayoba zalumi se ba mwangala zalumi so nti basambira sana ballot. Icho date stamp yini nako pama documents ya mu office munse dalo chalo aikala bali ishiba. Baba bena bamayo pali buloya bwabo bafika pona buchinchi ile no ferieka mushana UPND asala pokutila wona ule reputation y'amasambiro yabo yonse bakwata bamulandwa kulifi okucha mu funtungu abati yo ballot paper tapa date stamp bakana balonga amasipelanda bali printer kale fingi really atwala kwa bakacheka bakabike po ballot box, I mean a date stamp. Emutira bali pisha kale ifya kuvotela fine ifya hapo na date stamp champeli omwenso kale twamfuata ama by elections ali kukasama abameya ati katushikumishimishuko wale takwendeke na kipandika hapo na abanyuni kapo kale ama boxes awayo bishane fo bachitilepo ekiba amayo bazalone mwangala balachita baona uleshina lyabo kale ishina lyabo lyali kwate misoka uli omwana wabo wali bayo omwana waba nabo wa muntu fie muya we for Ngalanda compared to status bazalones bakwete ya ichirire misoka fira fine fie tayakapwe nga nifira balanda efyashitefingi kutira palu wabo balya bazalumisi mwangala n'omwana wabo napema ekiwa nakima bakalayipayiwa abaana b'abaana baabo bakalakumafe omuntu afumafe abakoma omuntu afumafe abakama pamukoshi takyakalaala ekiri abala ekimala ezafine pantu balina empya bali mu buteeko bwaleero bwa mu UPND ine ndeyipukishakuba-mayo nokuti fe ba Law Association of Zambia mwe bantu tekibalandeko okutira kalaka stampu ekalelanda okufunguluka kwa buteeko okutira efipepala fine twaleeta efi akuvoterapo ekipepala ekyo kikwete date stamp nikiteekushirapo yoyapoka n'okupoka mulenje bati ba Law Association of Zambia balife ettendo lwala ekimalafe bwino eki kintu kine nama NGOs yonse era yalelanda sana bafiribo fya PF era PF yanfyenye fintu mbere tebalelanda popali eki kintu abantu mwe bantu bakwalesa bonse abakwata ekipangisho sefiranda kimukeniranda eniko pali eki kintu takwaba ko bafunye date stamp namufire nga hata mu office bakulembera ati nabakutita promote nga tayikwete date stamp ekiteeyo nangu bali date stamp bati yawuyo omwaka olimbita olafyalo n'okufyalo kuti baakana ati teyawuyo omuntu mwine wayi promotion afunalanda kwenefefondela ngoka nalombako ba Law Association of Zambia muleti poshani pama ballot papers apagula date stamp mwekuchidye baloya bonse mwatira poshani pachamusango oyo mamayo bazalomisi mwangala pakulanda n'obulamba n'abakwata chine nasominapo abalemba batira mu mbokulira nekipali okwashintirire kiri kikigaba panyafirya bazalomisi mwangala pali wawo fefyafine bayima bali ku examination election of Zambia bayamkulamudafire okutira iyo kirife bino olw'omuntu akalanaka beshenilero abantu bambi okuba hired to work during elections or during nga kuli kupenda abantu mu kyalo mukwai abantu baleta utapufa enshimbira ile ekito bakamulipirirapo what's wrong with that ile lofe line mwaba mu UPND ero kibetu omuntu akanaka lekeni bakanaka telero batampa okunaka maye bazalomisi mwangala apo muperere mwakita ku participate mu elections yanga aya Zambia okufuma mu 1964 okushinga napano 2021 napano 2026 mwakita participate mu elections yanga ebulo yabwenu mwabupashire lira limwe bantu mwe nimwe mutengala tontapo n'abaana tibalya ebaloya bakalamba mu kyalo apo enkikusha Zambia shapwira nomba yimo mwalawo naula nekikiwunda kikulu kyabo pakusambira mu loya nimwe basabira baloya bulekati zelenedi nimwe zelenedi mumuleimina kuzikumkuta wachalolo okulanda ati yo ishimbira yangu tapali ishimbi yailandira awo mwandiri mwifuru fyanya ekyalo kyesu kishenife bwino ine namukula namufisha ekikwapo mufishishe nga ife abaana besu batekala bwino shani mukyalo kandi okubitauka awe kitanife efintu bwino bukaitemu bwakulisha mbwalitemwa so mulefu afyose mukutuntire okunamushika abaana babene abaana benu 20,000 kwacha ati nambapera beyo bafune awe guys feel can pay muchinjeko enquality.
Thank you, Mayo. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, I want to remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Okay, niambire kukamba pankani ya ECL. Kukakamira mubiri wa muntu asali bulu wako nicho dabu ishangako andi udabwa kuti nalomba yonkani bantu belabira kuti National Morning Wakita Council we move on akali kukakamira mubiri wa bene it same as Neo kuno sevenza nina muntu who reports to me but we have a bad relationship then that person dies and kunchito ofuni kotuma muntu kutaka paseko a speech on behalf of the company Neo nufuni kanazisha recuse kuti I know I didn't have a good relationship with this person, let me not represent the company, let someone else do it, I lose nothing. Lomba kuyumirira tiara to the extent of wanting a postmortem. Nikuona po muntu a stranger to request a postmortem family yake ilio funye po postmortem lomba bawelati anivo. Why can't they just let go? Bantu banyinji bakambapo washapo advise just let it go. Bala bantu baliokane kuleta mu in the first place until mwamba kuchinja ma program forcing kuti muntu who is not in good standing na wamwalira ofuna chala ashiteteeko over maliro. Next, nkani yawa ECZ. This is an issue my opposition leaders should be talking about. Labirapo ngako pali nkani ya unity. Lomba, these are clear measures being taken kuti result ya election in kali controlled. Where are the opposition leaders? Wali busy wayambana kukama zama defection ukoma koswe media reporting kuti kulima defection next Friday to be announced by 8 MPs from PF chako tina chako. We are distracted from serious issues. ECZ chito yao ni kuona tiapa ma elections. Lomba balowati and my intra-party matters lomba kutoko kakamisha kuti tufuna register CSG ndiyo ngufu kupasa adoption certificate. Ma intra-party issues ayo na nkani ya register of societies na ma constitution ama different parties. Nanga ma parties yali ma SG ni manata ko saina ma adoption certificate which will be acceptable to ECZ. As long as tuziba kuti kulinkani za mwana wao makoti umo kapena ofuna kuti ashite make sure vintu vijakiwe kuti mwana kafume wala komas. This is, she should not put the whole country in trouble just because of not saving a mwana wao mozi. Zambia is bigger than any individual. Akulonsi walofuna unongezi na yao kumalasti after saving ashita vintu vinyu injazilo ya lomba unongezi na yao kumalasti. Strategy ya ECZ pamene pacha 2021 tuwe wina wabantu ndipo yamba kushta plan for this election and many opposition people did not see it. Kuti pamene papezo chinja my head ba ECZ achusapo ashinda alita makada wena chipenzi wonse abo kwaikamu abo card carrying members of the UPND ndiye president penepala. This government has never had a plan for running this country to bring prosperity, to improve the standard of living of people. The only plan they ever had that they perfected over the years in opposition was how to stay in power. And they put it in motion immediately they came to power. We have changed governments using the same methods of voting. Nangalio chaipati and kutafuna chusapuma date stamp. What is the percentage of spot ballots that they will eliminate? Ms. Daumis, can she give us statistics, a percentage of spot ballots and how much of that percentage they hope to reduce by removing a dead stamp? Lelo dead stamp yankala reason why the election will not be credible when all this time we have used it and we have managed to change governments. Our Bantu, they will do everything. And by hook or crook, they will do it to make sure that they retain power. And we should land them in prison for the rest of their lives. So opposition upper, number CSOs, they should stand up and do what is expected of them. So want to love it. And how is also to kamba polomba moyo mulikusogora mufuniko muna ma voice after munga chiteko baso na so mufunika nama mukola vidapo. ECZ is currently going around the country doing my delimitation sittings in all 116 districts, and yet they told us only 70 districts are going to have new constituencies. So why go in all those 116 districts? What else are they doing? And my checkpoint here shows us Zizi, also Lavina na Bonobuino. Last time, Pechosa my roadblock, my checkpoint, Kambakuti, the only officials which will remain are so and so and so. This time, among those they named as official ones last time, police. But traffic, next now immigration polomba. So what is going on? What is going on? What are they doing? So these are things we should be talking about. Parliament, a minister should avoid kuyankama question yala. A speaker protected them. Kuti ayanke pe funsha pe konsha pama checkpoints. They have a new mingalato yera vida Cornelius Mwitwa. It's in motion. So if we are not going to wake up, and if opposition leaders and CSOs and the church are not going to stand up and speak for the country, they should have handed over the victory on a silver platter to this government.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much. Family, make your call. We are discussing those three issues. Make your call. Make your call. Make your call. Make your call. Whether it's an ECZ issue or ECL issue, make your call.
The party, friends and all. So I only lamented that why should you be stripping me of these things and then pushing me and saying, no, we want to protect you. No, you see, demeaning of the president to be seen to be going without this or that. I said, I don't need you. You don't need me. So I was very clear. I've not complained at all. The time that I've complained is when I've been harassed. I said, you've stripped me of everything, but leave my liberty, my dignity, and my rights. That's what I'm saying, even now. You see, 1 minute I walk the street, somebody says you can't walk the street because you're a former president, you are in danger of being attacked and people might attack you and will be blamed as police. That's why we're following you. The next minute I said, but you mean you didn't know that I was former president? When you stripped me of these things, please go and put your house in order. The next minute I want to go to church, somebody goes into...
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, Wamamba
Mwabombendi.
Yeah, I'm going to Boniface Chingolo.
But Boniface, make your contribution.
Contribution yandi. First year pali bahali kibanda. Amashu ya umfika kumfa kuba nenswa ikalo mufyalomo. Okwisa pokelera amashu kuchalo chusu chazambi okutitira ibintu byakitike. Ishinga monanga kuti fyalengo okutira abantu bali muri kino cyaro cyesu cya Zambia. Okukirisha bali mu government. Ngabalera ngo wina Kristo. Lera ngapa butatutu kwa batabali bena Kristo yo. Ngachakutire gavindu byalitike. Kireka biro kutira engalosha amenso kuchebo chakwalezo kuishiwa kwe bati ifintu ifyakusaba nabantu fyakashita fyakano okairi mu butungurushi waliringa bali kwe bati finawo fyanya ifinawo wamya ero bali kwe bati finawo fyanya ebantu bamuwofiri okutemwisha sana ishwaishi batuli ntungurushi yafumaluka te yonsa abantu abangere kwe bati awo lishe bwino nishobo wamuna tewa shide bali bwino ishwala bali kona ola so ngera mashuto mfiro kuli bahiki banda efachali echawa mai yona tetakareti achuwa mapuna mpano twakuli ba Zalome Mwangala bali yona wira fie ishina oko na wira urubali oko bafuma ushirelanga wina Kristo again at the same time nokumono kwe bati tabalinga bena Zambia benga temwe chalo cha Zambia kuchira pasho bale chita because the zone chocho wasangana kale na kale no tutwa kwetu one party state kuli wakaunda iyo twale voto kwa bula party twale kwata okuya mukulinganyo kutira balanga kutira chachine n'abavotere nyaba ile ero imumwisa muchinjo kutira yo twalafunya ko evitu panto ya muntu alanaka shani ero tendala mashabo cyo bomforesha ngalanaka engishe kwa binga bombe nchito kulingana fa chifile chabo echo mulisa mkusanga ngato aitsako mbaini twatambukula tuchikaire muleka tabantu twekwa tama foreigners bale ingira muchalo cheso abengi nokubeka tamulebeka tamafunya ko road block yalama checkpoint ebafunishe ko yalira ngokutira ushafinshi bale tontonganya finshi bale mona ushekuliko nchende shimona kuchirisha bayisafunya kuma boda yalinga palamine na mukongo ushekuliko obwafya bumubuli kona mpano ese kuchalo pamutira bayibe chalo cyo tutire ifine oti chalo chaisho because obaleteka abantu abena Zambia utobana bena twaisa kumubiri wabayisiyo abantu bakwalesa shomo kumubiri wabayisiyo abene abantu bene bamubiri baliranda ngesho bambira bakiranda bwakira ku example kuli bachiruba namulo mwene muchalo chesu nanombali nomutuli turasanga bamunyenefu inelimbishino ndipano umuntu wandi ano poison nangwa ikulika nangwa chashani bayi bati tatulefana postmortem tienze tushike chapo takwabo kwe batyo bantu ife ba government tulefuaisha mpaka vitu hivyo vile ngeti chafuma kuisa ngachifumine kuisa ngatilefu ikukutambira kuisa eno ngachakutira amashiwe tule omfuri onse kuli ba president aba Edgar Lungu ngachakutira baba temenwe bali mu butunturu era amashiwe yale bomfeshiwa ayishire bomfeshiwa na pa chitumbi cha upwale tira cha katumbi ngwentunguru shishire teke charo shaikerezi ushenga chakutira amashiwe bale butaukira kira kushikwa kasuna no wacha ngachakutira ife chale chitekero bali abo ushaino chitanga tulera ndapokutira yo chabi pokufu angula kuti twaira ndapono kulanda ngatuleta afya kuti awe chachine government yali mwenye gwe bati ni former president chachine muri shimo wali rufye nyira nguchana sha yero nomba tulefu ku monoko echitumbi chirefu aikwa ushi kuno wacha kwena ngvuta vatunganya nomba kuna nokumona ati abantu abengi valambo kumona kwa pali chimo chatunge nkulengola taito nkafe iyo icho tuli muno kwa jawe apapenda mwe ntungulu chimwe bali muteko kale ni panshi mutontonga nyala nenso ni fesha iba important ukumva penso chintonga mwakosa ura mundu tamwale mfwa ibo ali mutontoro mwali mukenya apa kutatutu mwali muwelele ku Heroes Stadium mwali tsile vintu ifingi ngalero chikoselesha lande no chomulevu aishanga kwa musango ishinga kuli chimwe cha bapo pakutatuke shibe techo balero ishani cho lero ngakubicha vya tumubili wa kwa lungu muri omusango mulevu aishama awe so mwine alino kubisebanya akabisebanya ro kaita chakawamiyo.
Thank you, Boniface. Thank you, thank you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Reverend Moses Lungu calling from Lusaka, Zambia.
Reverend Moses Lungu, good to hear from you, sir. Make your contributions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my ambassador. The current happenings in our country, because abantu bonse papa as to what is happening and why there is so much rapid changes with regard to the electoral rules and the regulations, the electoral conduct. It's very unfortunate that we expected that the political players would be the culprits of trying to change goalposts. But unfortunately, the Electoral Commission of Zambia itself is the one that is proving to be a culprit. The Electoral Commission of Zambia, Bakasaro, and chairperson, and then Chipenzi McDonald. I think you, in our ambassador, have been into these elections since 2000.
Yes.
And then I've been actively following the happenings in this country and participating effectively in the Electoral Commission of Zambia. In 2006, we were part and parcel of the NGOs that formulated the first voter educational manual. Now, when we look at some of the issues we were, and as a manual to educate the electorates, you find that people that are found to be culprits, abrogating all those norms, Niba Electoral Commission of Zambia Bene, Eronishi, na my election tayara chitika, na batite fingi sana, if you are kwebati, it has brought the institution into disrepute. If there are people that have the confidence in the current Electoral Commission of Zambia, I don't know if they can be more than 10%, because they've actually shown openly the biasness towards the party in power. They've no shame, they've no diplomacy. They are doing everything they can with impunity. It's very unfortunate. They've no regard for electorates. They think that if Wengabena Zambia, Turiba would be at their mess, which is very, very unfortunate. And I can only advise them that they need the stakeholder engagement meetings where they seriously get the feedback so we can get this country from unnecessary brutal confrontation from the electorates themselves and those that want to defend whatever their intentions are. It's very, very unfortunate. Coming to the body of our late president, may his soul rest in peace. All I would advise is we are a Christian nation. We know what is at stake. We know what has gone wrong. We need to admit that we have made mistakes along the way. And we need to demonstrate remorsefulness to the extent that every Zambian should realize that there is no family that would be happy being treated the way that ECO family has been treated. It's very, very unfortunate. We can only ask the powers that be that if ifire tuletera fye umusebanya eryo nga kyagwe bati ikintu icho kweta bene umubiri wamfwa wabene umutembo wamfwa tewenu eryo nomba mwatampokula utuka eryo nomba mwatampokula chite ukweshe fintu fyonse fibi and taking no single regard for the widow, the orphaned children, and the relations. Along the way, abalamba balalabirati insoka iya sumine wina uwa perere uwendonga bwapera ba ambassador nensoka ishachiba no kusuma ila suma. So nga chako bati mwakwata sana no mupampamina inefe ninga misoka kufyafya kwe bati ukoko mule ya kubwendo nomba insoka yala misuma nga mulina amano umfweni firekeni ifyo nga mwalipange mpuso fwaeni fya inshira imbi iya kuchitiramo amendi so that pabo kuikishanya wino pakatika buteko ero kabiri no lupwa ulolwalo fya umuntu alefwaiko fingi efyo banga fwayo kulanda abachirupwa pali inonsta lero bonse nabakutumana ilo abanenu bakutumana kwateni amano na imweteka nyeni tekukwata fyo mupampamina nanguli ndoshi ya palasti. I can assure you insoka iya sumine wina uwaperere uwenonga bwapera so insoka yaesha yafisama mule imbafe mule tulafyo wina mule tula ikamusumeni. As I can foresee a situation yakwe batumbi alesumwa kunsokeyo efininga bidane bo ambassador.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend, and thank you for calling. Thank you, Reverend Lungu, for calling. Thank you very much. Moses Lungu is a public commentator on many issues. I have another caller. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello.
Hello, caller. Yes, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, this is Bishop Dr. Paul Wupe.
Calling
from Mondola.
Dr. Paul Wupe. Yes, my dear brother and my bishop. Kindly make your contributions.
Yes, it is actually heartbreaking to see how many changes are coming our way. The intended changes which we haven't proposed, we haven't heard about them, they just bring them over for us. Usually the formulation of laws must begin from the interests of the people. Then you take it up on behalf of the people. You are our servants. We've put you in the office. Now what is happening is they're generating the changes and then bring it back to us so that we affirm those changes and make them into law, which is not right. So why make so many changes during election time? Let me remind the nation, we are a Christian nation and we believe in the Bible. We can read in the book of Esther where Haman, wanted to kill Mordecai. What did he do? He went to the king to change the laws. He knew that he cannot do anything without the law backing his ill intentions. So he went to tell the king to change the statutes. And that's exactly what he did. Secondly, we have a story of Daniel. The people that were jealous of him, they also couldn't get to him because God was with him. What did they do? They went to the king to make laws that will implicate Daniel. So this idea of changing laws to achieve certain purposes, ill-intended, is not beginning now. So people are suspicious of such changes, so they must stop it right away. Why are we making so many mistakes at the same time? You talk about ECL's death and what is going on. It is baffling. We've never seen it in our entire lives where you battle over somebody's dead body. No, that is sacred. It is for the family. The government should not overreach into the affairs of the family. It should understand its boundaries. So all these things put together, it is just confusing. Now, if you have incompetent poor agents who don't even know how to stamp the death stamp, or maybe they are tired, you put competent ones and those who can be alert throughout. It's a short time. I can work 24 hours or 2 days without losing my mind. So let's get the right people in the right places. You are making us sick. We don't talk, but now we begin to talk. So that's what I have to say now.
Thank you. That's Dr. Bishop Paul Wupe. Thank you very much for those contributions. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, caller, make your contributions.
Mabomba shan.
Iyo twabomba banemulishana imwe.
Wino fia. Nichilofia from Koshi.
Bachilufia, make your contributions.
Yes, mine is very specific because this is my background. Now, we've got a situation, Bamwamba, where the government of Kainde today is saying they want to do an autopsy. One thing I want to say is, in developed countries, even nurses are authorized to certify a death. It's just saying somebody has died. After that, there's going to be the next step. And the next step is that of a doctor coming in to say, yes, this person died and they died from this and that. Now, let me take you back, right? This is a government which wanted to get the body and bury it. How were they going to bury it? Why have things changed? I'll tell you something. It's just annoying the way these guys are going about things. Very frustrating and annoying. Why do they want an autopsy today? He died, yes. Where is the doctor who issued a death certificate? If he was poisoned, why didn't that doctor say, I'm not going to issue a death certificate because he was poisoned? Can these guys stop thinking we are idiots, Wamwamba? Please.
Thank you, sir.
We're not stupid. You can't do things the other way around. There's a grave for him. They were ready to bury him. There was even a program that was released. Bamwamba, please, can Zambians look at this? They were ready to just get the body, go and throw him down, and mwashiika n'okushiika chapwa misha chimisha lero.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, Avena Mkushi. I'm grateful for your contribution. And those are the valid questions. They were ready to bring the body and bury it. So what has changed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
what
thank
has
you.
changed, Mom?
Yeah.
What has changed? Why are they asking for? And like I say, listen and look at this. And my son would be laughing at this. Where is a doctor that produced the death certificate? Was he suspicious? Was he happy that it was a natural death, as in a complication from surgery? Then what he was poisoned when I went that what
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Mwabomben kwa mwamba.
Ndita mayo barishani.
Au tulife bwino bakaramba katuishwena.
Yole salet sunga. Make your contribution. Nimwebani and where are you calling us from?
I would like to remain anonymous from the land of AI.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Thank you so much. Narafa yokuikata kuopa nono kudiashdi abamaiba na zaromes. You see, I want to take you back to something you mentioned concerning the rigging of elections. And in my own words, I would say that rigging an election is not something that only happens on voting day. It is not just about what happens at polling stations. Election manipulation, if it is to occur, it begins much earlier. During the preparation stages, these things would have already begun. In procurement process, these things are already there. Logistic planning, and even in the appointment of those placed in charge of managing the electoral system. So when you look at the fact of this issue of can money be used in a country, if at all, the right logos of the country, everything that needs to be on that money cannot be used. It's just like the same way a ballot paper can never come without a stamp. So this is unheard of. It has never been seen. And Zambians now need to begin to ask important questions, because the credibility of any election is built long before a single ballot is cast. That is why the Zambian people must begin asking serious questions now, not even later. Under the United Party for National Development, UPND administration, and with the process being overseen by the Electoral Commission of Zambia by ECZ, transparency is not optional. It is mandatory. With only 6 months that we are remaining, silence is very, very dangerous, Wamwamba. Democracy demands clarity, and the time is now for us to see clarity. The questions I would like to ask, or many Zambians should be thinking of asking, these important questions, they must be answered in public. Where exactly will the ballot papers for the upcoming election be printed? We have to know that. What is the name of the company that has been awarded the contract to print the ballot papers? Just like the same way the Dubai one happened. It was known, it was not hidden. So all these things, these people must take account for everything. They should not blind us. Already we've seen the issue of roadblocks which are happening. They know what they are trying to bring in the country. They know what they are trying to do. I mean, Zambians, we are not foolish. Was the procurement process open, competitive, and independently monitored? We don't know. Will representatives from all political parties be allowed to witness and verify the printing process? What security measures will be put in place to prevent overprinting, duplicates, or manipulations? Will the ECZ disclose the exact number of ballot papers printed and the distribution formula per constituency? Are they going to tell us? How can Zambians be assured that the current appointments within the ECZ are fully independent, free from political influence? These are not even accusations. That's because everything you say under this regime is like you're accusing them, but these are very legit and democratic questions that every normal and meaningful Zambian needs to be asking right now. When constitutions are transparent, they have nothing to fear from scrutiny at all. The integrity of the preparation process determines the credibility of the final results. Zambia must protect its own vote. From the beginning to the end, we need to start questioning the ECZ about the ballot papers. Because with the things that we have seen happening in Zambia, whereby umwana wabazalomesi alipa yomuntu, but she's there. She's a free bird. Wow, Munia Zulu, who has finished his sentence, he's still in jail. Tell me why we should trust to say this type of a woman should be sitting there in power. Because sometimes but we are looking at them and we are thinking, are these educated Dao people or what? Or it's vice versa, they think us Zambians we are Dao, which is very unfair. However, Zambia, they need to know that they are sowing very bad seeds. And if at all these things that I've asked, these important questions I've asked, we should be aware to say these people have done their planning long ago, and they are very assured to say this election, it's for nobody, it's not for a Zambian, but it's just for them. According to the new Doom government in Efombeta, these people, we can be in February as Zambia, but them, they are already in July. That is the government we are dealing with. Then naisa kona kulia shiria ba tata ba isi ya mubirire chitika. Umuntu komanga te bluru ove. But we saw these people, they were sworn enemies. Not because ECA wanted, because ECA never wanted any enemy with anybody. We saw that they never got along. We saw how President Hakainde Hichilema hated his brother. And to him, he was never his brother. He looked at him like an enemy, left, right, and center. Tawaba temweni. Nombocho balefo ayapa bulano kwato oluse. Umubiri wanshi. Uamnavo balefo ayabaye bale paude. Umubiri otawa temweni omnobi olwale pema. Then ule ya mkufu aya ule paule inonshita. So that uchiteshani. Busheba mayoba besa fidia baledida. Bale punda tikabesha we mwana wandoshi. Busheba tata bakabeshoko bekeni. Kuti bakana ayamashu yaso. Why are they keen pamubidi wabeni? It is even better. Kanshi bakalolele ba blulu shabo bambia bakafuako. Oba bakabule bakayimukule Paulo mubidi. Bamwambana totela.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me take this call from someone who's been waiting for some time. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, good evening, Bamwamba. This is Donosco. I'm calling from Italy.
Thank you, Father Donosco. Please make your contributions.
Thank you so much. Today, I think the three themes or the three information that you have given the platform to discuss on, they are so important. And so I reckon it's also good that I contribute to this. I have to make a preamble. The Zambian people, most of the colleagues or most of the listeners, now we know each other, Bamwamba, we know each other. And there are certain things that we have to discuss as Zambian people. And then there are certain issues or arguments that we can discuss that all political parties can discuss. they can have arguments and so on and so forth. Now, the issue at hand, I've seen there is the question of delimitation, ECZ and ECL. I would begin with the ECZ issue. I was listening to Madam Zalomis explaining why they wanted to propose the removal of the death stamp from the voter's card. And I was watching, I was looking into her eyes. You could see that Madam Zalomis was not so at ease, looking at how she tried to find right words to use. She tried to find right explanation of the matter. Now, colleagues, it's just like the removal of the roadblocks on the main Zambian road networks. I think it might be the same thing. Let me make it clear. Removing the death stamp, which assured the security of the voter, of the votes, is like removing the roadblocks on the roads, knowing that some officers, some of the police officers, those who take care of our safety, and the Inspector General of the Zambian Army General, when he said they noticed in Mufumbo and other areas there has been the infiltration of illegal immigrants. I would like to be very specific on these matters. I am not accusing anyone. I'm quoting some of the words of our police officers or the Zambia Army when they went to remove the so-called illegal immigrants or illegal minors. They mentioned, this is the word that we heard, Zambia has been infiltrated with illegal immigrants. And so those illegal immigrants, they are not all Zambians. I understand there was also a figure given of the foreigners who infiltrated in our country. Now, I've stayed here in Europe, I've stayed in the United States, I've stayed in Palestine, I've stayed in Israel, I've stayed in many places also in Africa. To secure the safety of a citizen, first of all, we use any country, they use the police. Illegal immigrants, they enter into a country, like here, I make an example here in Italy. They come with trucks. They are packed in trucks. They are packed in some of the buses. They are packed in human containers. Yeah, we call them containers. You think as if they are taking foodstuffs, but they are trafficking human beings. Now, if in Europe they enter, illegal immigrants enter in Europe in trucks, in Zambia as well, we can assume that some of the illegal immigrants, they enter Zambia into truck and trailers. When we remove the police officers on the road, how are we going to secure the security? How are we going to make sure that container passing in Zambia is not carrying trafficking human beings? How can we make sure? So for me, by ECZ, to remove that state stamp is like having the security in Zambia, removing the police officers from the roadblocks. Then, delimitation process. Delimitation, I remember very well. We were told they had already identified places where they needed to do the delimitation. The Zambian people, most of them, they asked Can you tell the Zambian people which areas, which districts, which constituencies does the UPND government want to make the delimitation? I remember very well, says that we went back to the old delimitation under the PF. We went and find out how the PF, they noticed and they identified big constituencies to be delimited. Yes. But the Oasis Forum, other stakeholders, they just ask questions. Which constituencies are you going to delimitate? Up to now, that number was not given to the Zambian people. We hear now that there will be some consultations. I put that one aside. I come to the third point, ECL and the ECL's board. On this matter, I come here frequently because I am one of the witnesses. We were in South Africa. We flew from Italy. I was invited, and personally, I wanted to go to ECL's burial because I said sorry to ECL that I never knew him. I never knew, all I knew about him is by hearsay. Now, to say sorry to ECL, I had to make a journey to go to South Africa for the burial. I remember on that airport with the program which we were given a day before from the government in conjunction and in communion with the family, that program was also given to us. We remember that day we are going to be 3 clergymen who are going to bless the body from the mortuary or from, I don't know which word you call yourselves, you call them, it's a different word. From the mortuary, we were supposed to bless that body, and the body was going to enter into a private jet because the family accepted only to have a private jet, which was going to transfer the body from South Africa from Pretoria, areas very close to Pretoria, to Lusaka. Then, that day, the night we were taught the program, the morning we were at the airport waiting, and we were given a different program. When we were given a different program, we just heard the information coming from the family. We will not allow the body of ECL to go to Zambia. Then we said, but we are here, we are all ready. Everyone was ready at the airport. There were the South African army structures, there was the ZAF, South African ZAF commanders. Everyone was here. At the airport. There were everything lining, everyone was lining up, waiting for the time the body was supposed to start off. Then the message came. The body is not going to Zambia. Says, but why? They have changed the program. So, by UPND, you are not the enemies of the Zambian people. We are not enemies. We are all Zambian people. The program was changed. Henceforth, the family thought it was not conducive for them to allow the body to move from South Africa to go to Zambia. Up to now, how many months has passed? More than 8 months. Now, colleagues, inendaland pamulandu wantambi. Intambi fetuwamche fientambi mwebantu wa kwa mulungu. 8 months after the death. Olo mwaisa ipusha post-mortem. Mwebantu wa kwa lesenera libomba kuna kwa hospital. Post-mortem vapanganga doctor takwali doctor ufuire nga tafuire mu hospital mwasasanga ekitumbi panshira pamampati mwasanga ekitumbi panshira batola ekitumbi olwo balanda ati titse post-mortem tumone mulandu nshi iki kitumbi kyafuire apa. Nomba ECL was in the hospital. There was a prognosis and diagnosis on ECL's sickness. The doctor, they have all these documents by UPND. By UPND, you are also Zambians. Just like we are also Zambians. These things we cannot do, and pakuchita post-mortem bonse, you cannot do post-mortem if you do not have the consent of the family. Even umuntu afa bali motoka, a car accident, when the doctor says we don't know the exact cause of this death, and the doctor says, okay, for you as a family to give you the correct reason for the death of this person, allow us to do the post-mortem. Then the family has option to say, we accept and we give you consent. Or as family, we refuse and we want to go on and we bury our beloved person. So how can you even take, if Zambia attempt post-mortem 8 months after the death of ECL? In an once a while, she was UPND. My dear brother. Bakangwa, Patrick Kangwa, you are a Catholic. Patrick Kangwa, you are a Catholic. If you think to takwava, if you think to mi pamba, imwemwirete mi pamba muchalo, nali kwebele taburuapu, kabusha kolele wowa, if you think to mi pamba, mwebantu wakwale sa mwefileta, bakabesha, you are a Catholic. You know the teaching of the church. By Jack Mwimbu, you are a Catholic. You know the teachings of the church. By Mutati, Felix Mutati, you are a Catholic. And you know the teachings of the church. Why can't we be a bit sober, humble, simple, and obedient, and respect the family? Remember, Bakabesha, Mamutati, Chakumwimbo, Bishop Banda, Bishop Cham. They came to prison when you, President Hakainde Hichilema, you were accused of treason. We came to visit you at prison because that is the essence of our church. Don't look at the face of a person. The church does not look at the face, what color you were, which party you belong to. The church looks at the justice, the compassion, the communion. That is the church. And here we are. Most of the time you have been saying, the church is quiet. No, colleagues, I tell you, the church has been speaking. The only thing, the church cannot do the propaganda on network. Today I feel I should come back again. On this matter, I come back again because it's a matter of moral decay. It's a matter of tradition. The tradition has nothing to do with politics here. It's a reputation of the country. The dignity of the Zambian people with its variety of traditions and people. So, Bane, wesheni momutima. Bane wesheni momutima. Ma politics mulela kefufine chilifyo wino. You can fight, but when it comes to death, when it comes to ichililo, we are human beings. We can feel the empathy. We can put ourselves in the hands of the widow. Esther Lungu, that woman has suffered. That woman has suffered 8 months. Mwewantu wakwales. Nangu tapasoswa ifa kututukana ensele. Kuti mwatutukana. If tulanda putualanda. Pantu, we have seen a lot of things. So what we have seen, we should talk. We are not accusing anyone. But if we inensele mulen tuka mwantuka inensele mwatuka no mbate kwesho kutuke chitumbi. Kwesho kutuka mukamfuilwa. Ngatawa fuilwa po tawa ishibwe femfwa ikalipa. Ngatawa fuilwa po tawa ishiba efi abantu barole shefwe infwa ifina. 8 months umukashana nina ulia Esther Lungu tashi ko murume wakwe tamwa ishibwe chikalipa imwe. This has nothing to do with Bishop Banda. This has nothing to do with PF. This has something to do with morality. Do you want to respect morals by UPND, or you don't care? Thank you very much, Juan.
Thank you, Father Donosco. Thank you very much. Some people were asking that, is he the one that talked about the poisoning of Archbishop Eric Banda? No, he's not the one. The one that talked about it is Father Mwewa. So that's a distinction. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hi, Ambassador Mwamba. This is Pumi, Queen Pumi.
Ah, my dear host, you've been missing Mwaliluwila Mubowa.
We're not well,
Make your contribution, my dear sister. Make your contribution.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, Katrishina Pakwambira, this is like an emotional subject. I'll address all the three topics. I want to start with the topic here about Mama Esther Lungu and the news we woke up to today. Kumonama documents here, where the South Africa police is saying they do what they want to do and then they return the body after 8 months. Okay, I don't know. If this not evil, then I don't know what it is. We have to call a spade a spade. This is inhumane. No one does this. Like Zambia, we are setting bad records. International, they have set a global record of keeping a body hostage for 8 months, and after 8 months, they want to go and use the police to have access and do post-mortem without the family. We can only plead to the people who are orchestrating this, the Attorney General, please, can you drop this case? You know, I'm not going to say much, just to request the Attorney General to drop this case and leave it to the family to bury their loved one. This is too much. I also want to talk about this NGO in South Africa. How can we have an NGO in South Africa protesting with the government of Zambia, when in Zambia we have an NGO, we have our own political party, PF, which by ECL belongs to. But PF, you have not demonstrated to against the government for what they are doing. Again, but PF, this is a test to you. You need to demonstrate that, leave the body, let the government stay away from this funeral. What is stopping PF from demonstrating against the actions of the government? If those who are supporting the government can demonstrate in South Africa, we over here, Zambia, on the ground, women, even the church, the organizations which Mama Esther Lungu belong to, why can't you come together and protest so that the government stay away from this funeral and let Mama Esther bury her late husband in peace? This is a question I want to ask. And then on the issue of this ECZ, Vamwangaraza Lomis, Vambuya Wesu, Mwandini, Vamusalimu Lwamikupa, Anizibi Njimu Nanimaswabi, Kapakiskama Isesa ile kumina Anizibi. Mulu swabi sizen mane ni manzwina anan manzu ya kubela ni mina bomsali mulu bomangaraza lomisi. How can you say mutualimu mukene yako na kusign up for adoption? Mutualimu, is that democracy? For one person to be in charge of the entire adoption process. What if that person develops diarrhea on the day or that he's supposed to sign? Then what's going to happen? There's no democracy which depends on one person where a process has to flow. If a process has to flow, you need an odd number, and there must be at least minimum three people, so that the third person could be the tiebreaker. Recommendation should be ECZ need to, political parties need to have at least 3 to 5 people authorized within the party. It's like a bank account. Quite a bank account organization umuntu umwe usayina bamwangalaza lomi simwe. That is enabling cheating. Even in a bank, you cannot have one person to go to a bank as the sole signatory. Etya mulelanda, so mulelanda namu mwalikwata ku ECZ mwe musayina temwe kempia mwafunye. Or any organization. You actually want Zambians to agree on a corrupt practice where we are going to allow you to, you want Zambians to allow you to rig this election. In other words, because even in a bank, an organization, no, takwa abantu muntu mwasaina. Ngani organization thing, usually 3 people have to sign. Paboda ngole ingira, there have to be a date stamp. Ngalaku ikata mchalo. How did you enter the country if you don't have a date stamp? You're illegal. You didn't follow the entry process. So you want us to actually legalize an illegal election. With the implications of removing these serial security features is that anyone can print a ballot paper in their bedroom and stuff the ballot. This is what you want. In short, mulefa yabonse tukale print ama ballot paper muma bedroom no kuvote tuka stuffing na votes. So what's gonna happen? What if now if we as opposition we print more than you by UPNT mukachita shat? This is the lawlessness to Lekana. You are enabling lawlessness to happen by removing these security features. And we say no to that. I know mu parliament, ama MPs, ama 3 million validia. So panotulela and the bali sign no sign. That's why I have lost hope in this parliament. It's like the worst parliament worst parliamentarians that ever saved Zambia. Starting from that Bill 7, I'm sure part of the agreement was in the why any change, they should rubber stamp it. They started Bill 7 by President Eva. Oh, they used to want a Bill 7. Now the voters want this. How can the voters tell you what they want? The voters who want to rig the elections are the one who went to ECZ security features? No. No. We say no to that. And also this mining in Dava, I was just thinking, the president, why the mining in Dava? And when I look at the letters, yara coincide na triple year by the mining in Dava. The letter from the lawyer is 11th February, and the president was there mining in Dava on the 9th. So what does it mean that he went to witness the part of this whatever they wanted to do? It's just a question. Because I was sitting here and thinking, I'm like, okay, the latest lawyer is 11th February, and the president was in South Africa at the same time. They wanted to do a postmortem. But president, if you have an interest, if it's a matter of life and death, it's better you come out in the open than if you're from Leicester. We are not going to solve this problem by being dishonest. This thing has been happening. It's just like, who does this? You people. Be honest. Let the people want to see this body be honest and tell us if their life depends on it, so that our family in say. You know what? We can't be but not just tell us if somebody's life depends on seeing the body, because it's not your family, so why should you care? I submit. But it's just, I don't know. And before that, I just want Zambians to be vigilant. It's not a coincidence that we have this thing in South Africa and also the ECZ bill is going on. We are spending time talking about this breaking as drama about the body, but also there is a bill going on where they are trying to steal our election under our nose. Basically, Zambians, we are on our own. We can't trust the MPs after Bill 7. Ni don't kubeba na wama wachairman obetire. Ama wachairman obetire bobale ya kurusaka ni don't kubeba. Ngabaka bapera ma transport mani ama shinga. Ama Zambians, you can't trust anyone. We just have to trust ourselves as voters, and we women, we are the women are struggling to feed families. I submit.
Thank you very much. We've got another caller on the line. Caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and thank you for waiting. Yes, caller.
Good evening. I just want to touch on a few things. The first one is on the issue of AI investigation in South Africa. It has to prove what they are suggesting, like for Kaporowa, South Africa. Of course, it will be through science. They need to test and all that. It's not a matter of saying no, he was not poisoned. I mean, it's not for no one can answer that question. It's through science when they test that, when they can come up with the results to prove that it's not otherwise. So whether it's 8 months or it can even be done years, they can get the body, even if the body is buried, they can then do the test and prove that. I mean, we watched that.
Hello. Sorry, the line is cut. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Budifench Landren Mufoni Ama. Mnamvuka wati muri ukutali na chai batilandren Mufoni.
Okay, again, if you say same.
Okay, abako bwino apa.
Mkwaiwa ambassador. Awe ambassador. Dero mbako mairofes na maita pa program. Muka vike po idia speech ya ndire ba. Wa makepi zuru. Oro kutumwa rombako na atiko ya paper pareri ya shiria mbire. Idia atiko ya fumine ya wufia kurandati. Wakampanda wale statement. Poko pali poison wale statement kwa wati. Wafure na poison ilia propaganda paper ya South Africa. Tina romba ko mwaibika pona yena bako abantu wale ishiba ifyo because that's why ufona temeno ba Cape Zulu because tabate mwefya kurandaranda because wa Cape Zulu ngabantu bambinga baliranda sana pali misbehaving ya chitaba ba government pamurando wa family nomba ba Cape Zulu balanda ifya randa family ba jofo ba ishiba fingi nomba tetugo mfa balanda ponangu ukoya government ati mwefe mwachite na ngofe mwrekita aho that's why ufona temera wa Cape Zulu bali basana principle bali ishibe fingi sana nomba balanda ifya beba family ifya kuranda so since fila lirandi kwa kale muka ili muifwa clip ya way ila barondolero kwe bati batasira rungu na wana ka chinda na bambi bashire sanga vyata mashina yabo yafuma mu paper ati bare start demand ati bafuyana poison i paper ya kusafu oro then ambassador babambya balefo anamba yani mubebe batume inoshita charo chaji shopa batume kuli imwe barande namba ya shani balefo aya kuri balefo ya namba yani opona pera wa ambassador.
Thank you very much. Mwantu Kwalesa, today we're discussing very emotive issues, and I'm glad that you called and participated in it. Maybe let me just take 2 last calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Make your contribution, my brother.
Nizafuna kamba mchinyanja kuti vantu vamvesese navari kutali nambiranga wose.
Thank you.
Ambassador, inkwani yanenza gwirapo first infuno kamba pankhani ya South Africa ya tupi ya wa former president. I think imanje vantu wose vaona kuti apa inkhani singa zinkhalire kabe apa palumfiti. Apa palumfiti weni palipena vopita mbali tose tezoitambira kutali pachiyambi nokaikira kuti kaya manje apa azaonekera pabwalo kuti apa palumfiti koma mulungu sazazilola kuti zichitike mwamene bafunira. Amakebi banakamba kuti alungu sibazaikiwa mpaka nkhani yawo yonse ikakambiwe ikazilike ku chalo chonse ndiye pamene tilili apa. Government ilibe nsoni olo pang'ono, ilibe nsoni sichita vinthu mwakabisira, ichita vinthu pabwalo banthu wonse bapenya. Ndiye government tili nayo. So inkhani ya lungu ifika nkalani nkhani ya banja not ya government. Government ilipepo mbali. Ichi chinasonesedwa ku banthu bonse muno muziko alungu bakalibe kufa kuti alungu siwezo bakonda abalungu bezelibepo chibwenzi na president akainde ichilema. Sono lero chichokera pati pakuti pang'ono thupi titenge tipaseni tupi yetu pitizaika banja ngati siliko osina bwere setizaika ndiwe ndani ni mphamvu bwanji uli nazo. Mphamvu uli nazo zili temporary zopasiwa na bantu. Iyo ntchito linayo banakupasa ni ntchito unapasidwa na bantu ya temporary chabe. Sikuti onkhali na mphamvu manje zozitukumula zozionesa kuti aise olokulibe banja isetizaika mwaenda ku South Africa lipirani bantu bapopanga zungo kuli banja amene lina chisoni. Yayi si unthu uyu ni satana. Inkhani pamene yayimirira ni kufuna thupi batengeko chizimba ndiye pali nkhani apa osapitana mumbali yayi. Ni mfiti tiuziwa kweni palibe angatiname tiupenya kwamene baenda tiziwa kwamene baenda. So kugamba nkhani ya zalomesi nawo tikuti yayi vangotaya chapenthawi zamene vachita zilipe usizili bwino zilipe pindu basiye zikomo kwambiri.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm taking the last two callers. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, Mamba Nishan.
How are you
from Livingston.
I'm Livingston. How are you, my dear brother?
No, I'm okay. Long time. Tuare mifuruka.
Yo, nechipela nkulada chochila tusha.
Alright, now session can I meet him on Mamba Shiramonica.
Thank you.
Now, I'm a topic of course they're very emotional. Looking at the state of the country right now, you have brought very important topics. Yaba ECVD, Yaba Father Archbishop Banda na Yaba Itkarung. Let me start from Yaba ECZ. I think what I can say is that I am asking Jones very long time I have been near covered very funyama and cane a important ballot paper. I think you shown the Filanga from whence overquoted and the lack of confidence in themselves. Now I'm going to that the vote as normal they cannot UPND cannot get anything. And they understand to that effect that for 5 years of Hombere, in terms of I think they have not achieved anything. And the rigging of my elections are we could trace it back as far as the time when they brought in issues to do with the eligibility bakabakwanisha bafunya ba Edgar Lungu bapera judgment kwa 2026 bakeminini eligibility yasa apita wa mwamba wasanga kukutira ati PF as a party, abantu aba badishwe ko batyali bomba. Up to now, but bali holding my papers here, PF. All those are schemes of rigging. And now, even Bill 7, those were schemes of rigging elections. Now they have come to the Electoral Act. Go that bafunyepo idasiyo ya ECZ. All these Amazambians twetu ayisukatwa muno kuba kutira abantu. All of it don't say collect soja, no, we shall exterminate them and fumigate. All those are schemes of rigging because they want to instill fear in people. So maybe for Zambians, I think we have seen how desperate this government is, and the only thing that we have to ourselves is unity. If we at all 3-4 elections we get the results that us the people of Zambia want, it must start first of all with unity. Otherwise, if you and if I am active and paid, I can assure you, Bamwamba, Parliament. But what they must understand is that 2026 general election, it is UPND versus the people of Zambia. And if we Zambians get united, Ababa UPND, and then let me come to the issue and issue about Archbishop and their allegations they are poisoning. I think when you look at Dr. Archbishop Banda, ever actually assigned to look at to administer funeral of Edgar Lungu. And from the time he was given that assignment, I think his relationship with the state hasn't been good. We just pray that the church can continue encouraging our citizens so that if kuma elections, all these problems will be sorted out. I think just on elections. It's a pity that our guys, they have got no boundaries. They don't care whether it's a church, whether it's a what. As long as somebody is standing on their way, they are ready to clear them. As long as they achieve what they want. Number Bamwamba. Kufa okuteka kwa chano abantu n'abafirwa kale n'abafirwa but what bali okuteka, what kind of appetite is it? Now when we come to Edgar Lungu bachula ndi amaboko y'aba bantu bachula Bamwamba bambire okubakanya okuya ku kipatala. Bali bakanya 3 times okuya ku kipatala. Bashite ticket 2 hours before flight. Go to the government and that's how Dr. Edgar Lungu left for South Africa. The time when he went to South Africa, there was no visit from the state. Nothing. And before he left for South Africa, you saw how his family was being arrested. Bali anukura get ya former president kula anukura na chema zembe bali anukura get. So from the time Dr. Edgar Lungu died, just even announcing it was an issue by the state, and eventually a lot of things have happened. The Turashika Barungu Chipuna Chabata Sida Marimunifia Chitike just a few days ago. But the pocket into Katundi Amano Runga Barung Turashik. And then when we say that they want to go and they want to do the postmortem, who authorizes the postmortem? Is it the government or is the family? But to postmortem, they have to get consent from the family. Now, if they cannot respect his wishes, but they still want to go ahead and access the body. Then what message are they sending to us? For me, Wamwamba, it's Garungu for sure. Pabaro Takabapo. August 18, Pabaro Tate Garunga Kabapo. Pantumupa Shova Garungu. Nangu Mumfwa. Now Kwatamaka. I went over there, failed to fit properly. And they're now going for desperate situations. But it's too late. Dr. Edgar Chagwarungu, he died a sad man. And he would want to help liberate this country from the hands of these people. So, starting from our mother, Mama Esther Lungu, ngabale ufakuri program bafuri baje kuvuga ati tureba mapepo but still Lungu and the sister wa Lungu and the rest of the Lungu family and the Patriotic Front family tuibonte mapepo tureba pepera kuna tumunefe bareba chita tumunefe bareba chita amaka tugoite no bapya cherefe muri ballot muri voters card and for sure we shall deliver victory for Dr. Katagorong.
Thank you very much. I can see my priest from Rome has come back. Father Oscar Mwansapombo, make your contributions.
Yes, thank you so much. Sorry, I've just come back because I've been bombarded with responses saying, well, you are telling lies because postmortem can be done even after 1 year or many years. And so I thought, no, let me just rebut on the platform before you can end the program. On the postmortem, indeed, they can even do it after 20 years. But in terms of mafia groups, or people who were sentenced to death and then they discover that they were innocent, or the impersonification of a person. They arrest a person who are but who are ignorant, who are guilty, so those things after many years they can happen. That postmortem we confirm that he was an innocent person. Yeah, such thing can happen. No, but last could be Bishop Band. Nachiralanda padi ba Jack Mwimbu ba Mtati na bambi ba Katolika na ba Doreen Mwamba ba abama parliamentarians ni ba Katolika. The last thing ba Mwambande for kulanda ko wonse abantu apaba abale umfabengi bambi ba Kashana bambi ba Lumendo. You know that we celebrate Saint Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, Ramwamba. Valentine was a bishop. He was a bishop. We are talking in terms of the 6th century. Valentine was a bishop in a town here in Rome called Terni. That was the town, the name of the town. Now, what happened to St. Valentine's? St. Valentine was a bishop, and by that time, in the 6th century, we had an emperor who was very oppressive, because we are coming from the time when Jesus Christ was risen from the dead and they were killing Christians. So now, the emperor, one was Diocletian, another one was... Diocletian, I can just remain with that one. So now, this Bishop Valentine, by that time, Valelanda T, Awa Opana, Emisepelawa Amalavas Fidia, who are preparing to get married. Umwa Umenga Kwete, more than 18 years,
they had an obligation bamwambo kuya kufira kwale what obligation yako ya kukadeti ni wakadeti ni kushantwala yako kule atu military
national service
see. So ume wale ya national, it was an obligation wakwata for more than 18 years who ya national service wasaka said that yo bushiko wapombongo kweteni akaingati yo bane kwete 20 years 10 basenda so nomba one of this akakapwaka umwaume alefokupa wanted to get married. The guy was 20 years. The lady was 18 years. So by that time there was emperor balisafunya danikane command yakoba T takuli kuleka abayichi baupananga bali abanono aba bafirefu ba ku soja chap. So now this Bishop Valentine arresta so ale ufya abantu musikris bale bakanyama bishops bonse utakuli nokusumisha abayichi abatakuli nokupana because nga baupana then they were exempted to go to the war or to go to the army. So now this bishop married a young couple who the young man 20 years he wanted to marry the girl 18 years. And so he married them in secrecy. Filia essentially our and they get wedded. And that reason he was exempted from going to the army to go to the war. If you know, what happened was the regime by that time, they arrested the Bishop Valentine. They arrested him and they killed him. Okay, that won't be killing by the voice, by the platform, and that's correct. So that they unalived him. So when they did that, Electoral to St. Valentine. Actually, what happened was a bishop died to save the marriage of a young couple. He was killed, actually. And that's what, so now, underneath, we say by this time, I'm encouraging the bishop Banda, don't get discouraged, the bishop, you are not alone. Nangumuka ku prison, it's okay. Nangunga chako atilesali se msenda to Bishop Banda. Tia ni nomba kumulu, mwalafu hapa wami tapali inshende yenu panumpachalo. Tia kumulu ba Bishop Banda, we will remember you. We are still remembering St. Valentine's. Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day. Mwapanga no tumarozi. Mwapila tumarozi tamaishi wachi. Valentine's Day. It was a bishop who was killed because he gave a life to a new couple. And I submit. I love you always. I love you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love rules. Love reigns. As we come to an end, there's a matter today we're discussing. We might bring these subjects tomorrow because it's been very emotive and the calls keep on coming even this late in the hour. But this is what has happened. There's a report that was made to the South African police, and there's a Sergeant Nompilo Ngwenya who's been investigating this matter. The matter arose from a pressure group from South Africa that we've accused government of using, this Zambian government of using, and our lawyers, the lawyers for the family, had to write this very strong letter to the police. And this is what they said, that it has come to our attention that you have issued subpoena to Mr. Mpho Nisi, who's director of Two Mountains Funeral Services. You are directing that the body of the late former president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, be released to the custody of the South African police. We find it necessary to record our client's concern regarding this request. Your office is aware that there are two extant High Court orders expressly direct that possession and custody of the body remain of the late president be with Two Mountain Funeral Service, pending the finalization of the legal proceedings. Those orders remain binding and operative. In addition, leave to appeal had been granted by the Supreme Court of Appeal. The appeal is therefore alive. And at this juncture, the operative court orders remain in force and must be respected pending the outcome of the appellate process. In the absence of a judicial variation or further order authorizing removal, no person or entity is legally permitted to act inconsistently with those directives. The lawyers were forced to respond to the police. The police have issued 5 subpoenas. They want this body. And as you see, this letter was written on the 11th. That's why callers, 11th of February, callers are saying, did this gentleman, the police officer, Sergeant Nompilo Ngwenya, know that President Hakainde Hichilema will be in South Africa? Why did he want so desperately the body of the late president during the period that President Hakainde Hichilema was in South Africa? Many have made that link. Linda Banks, an international journalist based in Manchester, United Kingdom, has written the following. Mr. President Hichilema, what compelling national interest justifies demanding a post-mortem on a former head of state who you hated 8 months after his death, knowing the potential legal, diplomatic, and social consequences? And how does this decision serve unity of our country rather than deepen division? As a people, we apologize on behalf of VCL. You win, Mr. President. Let the man rest in peace. He wasn't perfect, but he was a human being with a family who loved him. Respect your predecessor. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Linda Banks, an international journalist of good repute. She's usually a good contributor to this program, and she's just written that note. To our dear sister, my grandmother, Mwangala Zalomis, people have roundly condemned your proposed amendments regarding the Secretary General, regarding the removal of security features on a ballot paper, regarding your powers to ban political parties or their candidates. You heard for yourself. Our people have condemned you roundly. Regarding the poisoning of Archbishop Alec Banda, that's a very serious allegation, and it requires that it be investigated. We want to call Lisa. God bless you. Thank you for joining us, and good day.
He was not just a citizen. He was a head of state. And if somebody says there were issues, yes, there are always issues. But in death, we converge to honor the dead, to bury them decently for the president with all the honors, military honors. After the burial, we talk about anything we're unhappy about. He was not just a citizen. He was a head of state. And if somebody says there were issues, yes, there are always issues. But in death, we converge to honor the dead, to bury them decently for the president with all the honors, military honors. After the burial, we talk about anything we're unhappy about.
To kill PF. And the same people should be presiding over his 10th memorial. The same people should be putting his ghost to rest forever, and we are watching. We can't accept that. That's why people are saying, what's going on in Zambia? What's going on? Because I don't want to say people were happy and excited when Mr. Sata passed on, because that's a fact. You can check it out for yourself. I don't want to say from day one, after Mr. Sata died, people began trying to destroy his memory by destroying PF.
Just to put it very in clear context, you are saying when Mr. Sata died, some people celebrated.
Yes.
They even began to campaign immediately.
Yes. Yes.
They saw it as an opportunity to get to office.
Yes. So that is a fact. And now, the same people went further when they got power in
To destroy
2021 to destroy his party. And tomorrow they want to attend the memorial to make sure that even his party dies with him forever. We can't allow that. So for me, I'm waiting between now and tomorrow morning to see what happens. How can you allow somebody who has murdered your son or your daughter and you are still mourning to come and attend the funeral and be made to speak at the funeral?
But how good your son
was. And you know about it, you say, wait a minute, what's happening? And I think I can just say the whole thing, I summed it up when I spoke to one guy. I said, because how can you, Ambassador, a Catholic, be remembered in a Jehovah's Witness hall? Yeah. In the 10th anniversary, or how do you get
to be dishonored?
How do you get remembered in a SDA church when everyone knows that you're Catholic and so on? And the party, friends and all. So I only lamented that why should you be stripping me of these things and then pushing me and saying, no, we want to protect you. No, you see, demeaning of the president to be seen to be going without this or that. I said, I don't need you. You don't need me. So I was very clear. I've not complained at all. The time that I've complained is when I've been harassed. I said, you've stripped me of everything, but leave my liberty, my dignity, and my rights. That's what I'm saying even now. You see, 1 minute I walk the street, somebody says you can't walk the street because you're a former president, you are in danger of being attacked and people might attack you and will be blamed as police. That's why we're following you. The next minute I said, but you mean you didn't know that I was former president? When you stripped me of these things, please go and put your house in order. The next minute I want to go to church, some people, the party, friends and all. So I only lamented that why should you be stripping me of these things and then pushing me and saying, no, we want to protect you. No, you see, demeaning of the president to be seen to be going without this or that. I said, I don't need you. You don't need me. So I was very clear. I've not complained at all. The time that I've complained is when I've been harassed. I said, you've stripped me of everything, but leave my liberty, my dignity, and my rights. That's what I'm saying even now. Everything, but leave my liberty, my dignity, and my rights. That's what I'm saying even now. You see, 1 minute of everything, but leave my liberty, my dignity, and my rights. That's what I'm saying even now. You see, 1 minute I walk the street, somebody says you can't walk the street because you're a former president, you are in danger of being attacked and people might attack you and will be blamed as police. That's why we're following you. The next minute I said, but you mean you didn't know that I was former president? When you stripped me of these things, please go and put your house in order. The next minute I want to go to church, somebody goes into church and says,
amitapendwa ya vintu ifisumesyo twabula kwibukisya kanate pochimo lwimbo watemenwa katongi abazunga batita katongi nakula kwibukisya kateka kaibukubuna kapona neseko syove pamenso yangwama umebaya iyaba baume iyaba baume kateka wabantu twakulira lelo twakulira shika kukonke milimo shove ale filamba yena minta pengosile eti kumemo kulondolola vale lilo wingi
iseko wingi mwakwete iseko wingi mwakwete mwaya mwende wino tata wesu
katushi muchi mutege wapangile obwingi okuchinja olusako kumoneko busaka mama kutituwala basiyani chakwa katuse.
We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides, and spark national debate, speaking truth to power, from the grassroots to the highest offices. EMV. We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides, and spark national debate, speaking truth to power, from the grassroots to the highest offices. EMV.